in the chat. What'd you say? What did you get? Yes. What did you get? Okay, you bought Meta or NVIDIA? No. Apple. No. Google. AVGO. She bought Broadcom, guys. I think that's a great buy. I think that's a great buy. That's a good buy. Custom silicon, 337. Should we do a little TA before we send it over to the big boys? See if Ram got a good entry or what. So we're gonna look at Broadcom, Joey, and we're gonna look to see if Ram is gonna get rinsed or she's gonna make some money. How much did you? Where'd you get it at, Ram? 337. So you're getting it at the lower end of the range. I like that buy. So it's consolidating right now and has been for a long time. What's going on, Joey? What's going on?
Yo,
Stop, bro.
Alan's Subayas, that made me laugh, bro. That made
KC.
that made me laugh, brother.
We got to shout out Casey as well, Joe. She just gifted
Casey,
5 free Trader TV Live memberships. Thank you, Casey. Always kind, always paying it forward. Shout out to Casey 526. And I have to let you know, what would I be if I didn't let you know that now that since you guys are subscribing to the, sorry, there it is. Since you guys now have free memberships as a result of Casey, I got to show you where you can get the morning note. If you haven't joined, you can click join right there. Otherwise, go over to the YouTube homepage for Trader TV, and I'll show you exactly where to get it right there. That's the homepage. You click posts right there, and there is Sharif's morning note. Click read more, and you get that bad boy every day. And that's what we use on the news. And make sure to get that every morning. Thank you, Casey, for sending the memberships. Joey, send them off.
Hope everyone has a good day. I wanted to say it straight.
Do it.
I can't say it anymore. So there it is. Yeah, there we go. Toyota, baby.
We love you, Joey.
Toyota,
Shout out to you,
love
my man.
Great. That was interesting. I love the passion. Look, man, I've never heard anybody say it that way. But
passion on this show? Nah.
Nah. It is what it is. I think it was. I sit back down. You know, whatever, really getting ready, get my water, sit down, and like, it's a bit of an interesting discussion. Not even sure how the stock came up, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I think the bigger story is what the market has almost been able to do. And I say almost because it almost got green. Don't jinx it. Yeah, peace out, Joe. Joe Yoda. I love it. No, I love it.
I don't know. What were they talking about?
No, look, I don't even know the context of how it came up. I literally sat down and they're like, get on here right now, and what's your opinion? Is it Toyota?
It's not an opinion.
Or Toyota?
It's not Thai anything.
Well, that's all I said. Yeah. I was like, look, I'm being genuine. I've never heard a single person say it that way in my entire life. And that's fair if other people say it that way.
I mean, Joe is allowed to mispronounce things. I don't understand what the big deal is.
We mispronounced Neo on the show for like, I don't know, like 5 or 6, maybe it wasn't 5 or 6 months. Maybe it was only a couple months before everyone corrected us. But
I'm just here to trade.
I used to say Nio all the time.
But yeah, Nio, yeah, Neo,
all that kind of stuff. It's not whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's fun, it's fun.
And I like this Ramin DCAing or buying into Broadcom. That's a good company. That's why the only reason I have that one up is they were just talking about what Ramin got into.
Hyundai. But we're anyways, I mean, back over to trading, and look at this, man. Short. We're just short the market now. We'll wait to see what winds up happening. Big day alert. Now really recovered from everything, man. I mean, Tesla was an absolute monster during the midday. It just kept on climbing, and we're taking $10 on this. We're actually still long right into here. We did stop out right there when it broke 404, so we have a very, very small piece left, and then Google is still $8 in the money as Google goes higher and higher here. So we're long Google, but we are way trading much heavier right here on the TQ. So the TQs is now, Neil, the vaunted dollar club right there now on this trade. So yeah, so far so good here as we continue just to get going short here. Let's see what happens at the end of the day. I mean, it's still NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. I don't think we have a big earnings opportunity tonight. We'll double check that. We are going to have, it's going to be myself and a brand new host. So stay tuned for that tonight. We're going to have another host we're going to be trying out here tonight.
Well, I was just thinking.
What are we being quiet about?
No, it's just like new host secret.
Oh no, I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it loud here. I want not a secret at all.
There's not much after.
I'm trying to create some action here. Join myself, Brian Shannon, and we'll be trying out, like I just said, a new host. So that should be fun. And yeah, join me tonight for that. And then we have another new host on Thursday as well. So
unless you're into Powell Industries,
yeah,
there's not much reporting tonight.
Oh no, Powell Industries. Okay.
I've never heard of them. They're just one of the names on the list. That's all I know.
We'll see how that all goes. I'm going to be flying by the seat of my pants.
They're probably not going to make the rundown.
We'll just see how it goes.
That's a
Maria Bartiromo. Yeah, that's who it's going to. No, I've never even really met the host like that. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sure I can flow with everybody here.
There's the two we're trying out. One is coming tomorrow or tonight, and then the other one on Thursday.
Yep.
One, if you've been watching the show long enough, you might recognize. That's the only hint, but I'm guessing most people won't. But one person.
Is it this one that's here now?
I believe.
So you host a show and you don't recognize.
I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, okay.
It was here already.
Yeah. Go have a look and see if you recognize if that's the right one.
Oh, hold on.
Anyways, I was going to say I've been hosting here. I don't recognize, but.
Yeah, I recognize him.
That the guy who's been on the show before?
I recognize him.
Huh?
I recognize him from the training.
No, but you said people on the show.
It's not the person I was thinking of before, but I recognize him from the floor.
Okay.
So you guys may or may not.
Yes, Ozan, you are. I mean, if anybody would like to, if anybody's here in Toronto, honestly, and wants to become a host, please message marketing@tradertv.live. I've already tried to get Randy to host longer, but I would love for you to do the show at 4 o'clock.
You've been on before.
I've already suggested.
Longer than now?
I've said, well, yeah, you're not really on now. I'd like to see you on more permanently, Randy. Who wants Randy on as a 4 o'clock host with me or Neil? I think that would be kind of fun in Adara. You know.
We'll roll with you. See, that's the problem. The funny thing is I knew exactly what you were going to say.
It's had a day.
What does XOM do?
XOM or Rivian?
Almost 120.
It's had a day.
Almost 120.
Should have bought that dip at 115.50.
Oh, man. Should have bought. Hey, Tesla's up $20 from its
HOD. Close. Close. Hey, it is actually looking pretty good. If you're rotating the energy, XLE's looking good too, but.
Higher highs.
Yeah, you could do
worse.
Higher
lows.
That's your baby.
Buy those dips, that's the way she goes.
Collect the divvy.
You always got those.
Collect the divvy.
You always got the.
Well, the divvy's part of the, like, let's be real. If you're buying an energy name, I mean, you're not getting the capital appreciation that you're getting out of tech. So yeah, of course, the divvy's a certain part of it. You're doing it for some diversification. You're doing it for the dividend, and then you get a little bit of an uptrend. And Bob's your uncle there too. So.
Yeah, we're looking to get off of Neil and I hosting the 4 o'clock show, just to give you guys a little bit of different, fresh perspective. Right. So that's what we're doing here today. We're going to try out a couple different individuals throughout the next couple weeks, see how they flow, and get it going from there.
What?
Ford.
Why? What's
Rivian's been getting to the downside by the
recall today or something?
On Ford.
What? With Ford?
Up 1%. Same
I think it's 1%, but that's not bad.
What? Yeah. The combustible engines. I mean, Ford had a good report. So did
engines?
Yes. So did GM. Had a great earnings report as well. And Tesla's the one today rocking a little bit. They've been getting hit.
How long does the ride last? Even if it goes up.
The next recall. By the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like if you're in Ford, it's like enjoy the up move, but at some point, you're probably looking to get off the ride. Would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean Ford. Here, look. I mean, we can all talk about.
Oh, this is a monthly chart.
This is a daily chart. But I was just going to say Ford since the beginning of the year is $10 to $13, so it's up 30% since the beginning of the year. Ford. Okay, Rivian since the beginning of the year. Let's just have a quick little look here. Rivian is flat-ish since the beginning of the year. Maybe call it a dollar. I mean, this is a pretty. Well, no, actually, this is the first of right up here. Rivian's way down.
Well, the high is actually the first.
Well, yeah, it's funny because it's like that's the 31st. So I don't know what happened very first. But anyways, this is Rivian's first little candle. I was just comparing the two because we always talk about. We always kind of shit on Ford and GM, but they're actually outperforming all of these names. I don't know. I have to see what Tesla's actually up or down for the year. Right now, Tesla,
doing better.
I might take a piece out right now at 404 on Tesla. There he goes. Ring the register right now, the face slapper. But the market's starting to come back to the upside right here. So, yeah, Google was a really nice snipe, but it took us a while to get it. We were in and out of Google a bunch of times before finally grabbing that at that bottom. But we lost too much money there to be celebrating this. But yeah, Google is at the top again. Let's take another piece out right now on Google and throw it over to Neil.
Yes, sir. And with just one stock, look at that skyline, 3D Capital, you get exposure to 60 plus early stage plays in AI, blockchain, biotech, and more. Led by CEO, whose last deal returned 150x 3D trades under IDK on the CSE and IDKFF in the US. Subscribe to their YouTube channel for exclusive interviews and deep dives, and you could win up to $1,000. This is your ETF for early stage innovation. Check out the QR code, scan it right there in front of you for more information on them. Let's get away from Ford, because why are we talking about Ford? I have no idea. That's the thing, Randy, you know the lane that Randy's in, which is, like, that can be good as an investor. Or even as, especially, or investor, trader, doesn't really matter. Know the lane that you're gonna be in. He knows his autos, he knows his, it's always autos and energy. Yeah, but we always try to keep it to what you guys are interested in, which is why we have the rundown, which is why we have the stock visualizer. And at some point, I can't wait till it's right behind us again. Then I could cheat. I didn't cheat.
Yeah,
probably going to be the top. No, it's not. It'll be easy. It's going to be Tesla. I got to pull it up there. Oh shoot! I'm surprised. Okay, well I'm not going to make a guess anymore because I was guessing dead wrong. Some surprises on this list is my guess.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, everyone, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys are locked and loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers right there is to get into the chat and vote every day. You got to throw in that $sign, though, before the ticker of your choice, but make sure to vote every day. Let's look at the 4 major averages, and 3 of them are red, 1 of them is green. Down is the NQ, down 0.5%, but certainly off the lows. This one made a low into 24,375, recovering a little bit here as it moves into 24,750, coming into that 50-point area. The ES faring a little bit better than the NQ on the day, down 0.33% ahead of that 6,650, but still down 0.33%. The worst performing major average on the day is the Dow Jones. After making all-time highs last week, it has been selling off quite aggressively after getting into 48,500. It is now down below 46,300. The only positive major average on the day is the small cap heavy Russell 2000, up 0.2%. Let's start though with the first ticker as decided by you, OLMA. Great strength on OLMA, at least in the pre-market, up 132%, not really giving back much of the gains. But this is really why it's moving up. The stock's reacting to Roche's LiDAR phase 3 trial demonstrating superiority over the aromatase inhibitors in early breast cancer. Good look for OLMA, breaking down below 20, guys, and well below the high of the pre-market at around 39 bucks.
Way below the high for OLMA. That said, look, it's not that bad. It's actually a good looking chart if you zoom it in enough and just look at pretty much the second half of this year. And it had been somewhat uptrending, had been bouncing, but this move is obviously ridiculous. Ridiculous is maybe the wrong word, but insane. Your best friend is the pre-market for names like this. The first thing this did at 9:30 was halt down. And then it's done absolutely nothing since. So I get it. It was really exciting in the pre-market when you could actually, ride that momentum. So if you don't have pre-market trading on a name that was, at one point this year $4, but like $8 yesterday, and by the time it's like 7 a.m. when a lot of people start trading, and then 6 before that, by the 7 a.m. it was already a double up. So if you're not jumping in on that kind of a trend, you're basically done. You might eke something out. You might look for a secondary push late in the day. I would venture to say volume is dead and it's way under VWAP. Might have to get through that halt price. If halt price lines up with VWAP and it breaks that out, I think that gets at least a little bit interesting. But I call this one, congratulations if you had it in the pre. This is another reason why, when I look at, Tisha and a few others, Fat Figga in the pre-market chat, and they're always going through, hey, what are the names on the list that you're watching, knowing full well that if you're making money on this, it's because you are looking to get in early off like consolidation break here, consolidation break there, and then try to ride it. Just don't get caught being exit liquidity when it comes to a name like an OMA. But that's why you want to be up. Early bird gets the worm here. No questions asked.
All right, I'll deal with Netflix next. Let's go find the story from Sharif.
Guys, NFLX, excuse me, here up 3 1/3. Multiple different comments today. Let's start with JP Morgan lowering their price target, not by much, from 127.50 down to 124, keeping that in focus. Also maintained equal weight here by Barclays. But they've been trending up since splitting back on the 17th, guys. We're trading about 109, breaking through 115, but below 115 right now. Separately, there is this still saga continuing to unfold. Netflix, Comcast, Paramount, all preparing arguments for the purchase of Warner Brothers, reports the New York Times.
So, yeah, I mean, we know content is king, right? There's actually going to be, I don't know, actually, if I didn't get to ask you about this, there's the Jake Paul, Joshua David, that's going to be Netflix. So there you go, man. December the 19th, a big, huge fight. Who is David? It is, isn't it?
David.
It's David, right? Anthony Joshua, okay. Yeah, so he's going to be coming, and that's going to be a huge fight. That should be a lot of fun, and really looking forward to that one. So we'll have to find out, what kind of ratings that brings in. But yeah, no, just off the split. Our charts aren't split adjusted, so here's a daily chart. I wrote this down on net for Netflix yesterday as a buy at 108. We got pretty close into that, man. We got like 109, and now today it's popped through. So, we didn't exactly take too much advantage of that. Down there at 108, but that's a great hold there. And now today you're just seeing upside. I mean, I believe in Netflix and all the subscriber growth and that ad tier model there where it seems to be going well. I mean, Amazon has that model. They all do right now. But there it goes, upside on Netflix, just holding VWAP and then just shooting the moon right now. So good job there, up to 115. That's a good little level there. And again, just to put out on the daily chart one more time, I got to keep bringing down E-signal. But you're getting close to breaking right here. Like, bad quarter, down in the dumps there, 108, back up to 116. I like the stock. I like it even better if it breaks that 116 level right there back to the upside. Look, man, take advantage of these dips when you see great quality companies that have that first mover advantage. Like, a lot of people that have Netflix aren't canceling it. Sure, there's going to be people that do. But at the end of the day, it's the one streaming situation that I think most people are holding on to. And by the way, as this goes on, we could talk about trades or actually make trades. And right there, we'll fire off the hot dog cannon because here we come right back down in again for these TQQs, man. We're going to take another piece out right now at 88s if we can and take advantage. There it is. Oh, did we get it? Yes, we did. Take advantage of this recent pull down in the market. Hey, it's a big day today. Trading wise. So congratulations, you got it. Netflix definitely helping anybody that has that short or that long in Netflix.
No questions asked. But I think you can also consider the 3-day rollover in Disney as possibly done. Disney plunked. Disney's held. It's going to close with a nice little double bottom. So tomorrow is our chance to potentially break out on Disney. And look, obviously Disney hasn't really done a heck of a lot, but the other beleaguered name, there's your dip. As long as you hold, tomorrow gives you a chance for at least a, relief rally into the 200 period, for lack of a better term. Disney languishing a little bit relative to Netflix. I think that's understandable. Netflix has been the big winner, but Disney has a lot of other things going for them. This is one that, if you zoom the chart far enough, 125 is going to stand out like a sore thumb. But before it gets there, I think there might be a bit of a trade. Let's go talk about some Alphabet. They do a million things as well, and don't sleep on the fact that YouTube probably crushes both Netflix and Disney.
Yeah, Google, guys, fantastic day. It's only Apple and Google, the only Mag 7 names that are actually positive on the day. Google well ahead, up 1%. Several different headlines here. Let's talk about initially, of course, Warren Buffett disclosing that Berkshire Hathaway has invested in Google to the tune of 17.85 million shares. And based on the time of the writing of this article, he's already $783 million in the money. Shout out to Berkshire. Loop Capital also upgrading Alphabet to a buy with a price target that is of $320. That is up from the prior level, which is not stated here. Separately, Waymo, Randy, are going to roll out robo-taxi cities to 5 new cities in 2026. We're talking about Miami, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, guys, and Orlando.
Call up some greens. Go down to San Antonio. Oh my goodness. If I hear San Antonio, I think of 2 things. Charles Barkley and his comments about women in San Antonio. And I think about Tropic Thunder, the greatest comedy movie that might have ever been made, and Lincoln Osiris, one of the funniest characters I've ever seen in my entire life. Shout out to Robert Downey Jr. for having the guts to do that. Before we get to Alphabet, I did want to throw this up there because we got a super chat a while ago. And Howard, I will tell you that I know anybody could verify this, right? You could do the math, and thank you for the super chat. Can someone verify BMNR trading below value of ETH they hold versus MSTR trading at 200+% the BTC they hold? BMNR seems bargain-ish. I'm not going to pretend I've done the math. I tried to throw it in perplexity. It gave me a nonsensical answer. So all I would say is this. If you believe that to be true, then go out and do the legwork. But just because they don't trade at the same relative premium doesn't mean it's like some automatic trade, like it's an automatic value, like it's just going to correct. That's not necessarily how the market always works, right? Like you might think that it should work that way, and then you can make an argument that it should, but they don't have to actually trade in that same way. The market doesn't have to be rational. There's all kinds of hedges that can be going on that complicate the value thereof, like how many people are shorting it and then doing a hedge long the underlying, and that can skew things 1,000,000% on a name like that. So that being said, I think we're on the verge. Whoops, what is going on? Why is that still Shopify even though I hit enter? Thank you, Alphabet. I think we're on the verge of breaking out here. I heard at least it was Joe, I'm pretty sure, saying the attractiveness of the valuation in Alphabet. And this is something we talked about before. Like you can have a company which is near highs, but relative to its peers can actually be a good value. Like the best example would be take this chart and take the chart of Meta. One is trending up and one is trending down, and they're both at a pretty reasonable valuation. And you make the argument that the better moat does exist with Alphabet. So can we get to 295? I don't know if Daytrader LA had a time period that he wanted it to happen, but at this point, that's a reversal. I think we can get there for sure. And Ozan, appreciate the advice. Like, that's the great thing about the community when it comes to BMNR. Like if people have solid answers to that or their own thoughts, go throw them in the chat and everyone can learn from it. I'm not in BMNR. I don't like those treasury plays, so I stay away from it. But certainly if there's an opportunity out there, do your research and take your shot. But make sure you do your research.
Yeah, that is for sure. But right now, we were trading Google earlier. You're welcome, Julia. I mean, if you're in both of these trades, then I just got to say to that, bang. Because yeah, the Tesla trade is the monster. I mean, this is a great trade, but losing too much money on the way down. But yeah, there it goes. Finally at 279. I mean, I don't know. Google was a really tough trade today. I thought that the fact that it was up in the pre-market led me to believe that this was going to be up today. And it's up fine now, but it had quite a dramatic move down, $8, and before eventually catching it. We're starting to stop out now, out of everything as, oh shit, oh God. Here comes TQQs right now, making more moves to the downside right now. So yeah, we're gonna watch out for that. We are stopping out at Tesla when it breaks through VWAP right there. But I'm with Neil. I'm glad Google's quite a good position in the account. I do want to add, this is one of the #1 names on my shopping list out of all the Mag 7 names. It's Google. It's my #1 shopping list name, but it has to come down. You might have got a nice little drip down there into 280 right now, but that's not enough. If the NASDAQ really wants to make a move, then Google probably should come down into this 260 area to 270. But at the end of the day, I want to be buying all of this Google. Love the name. Look, I rotated out of some Google and into Eli Lilly. I think it's actually probably working out better now. But at the end of the day, still love me some Google. And it was the #1 idea on the sticky note. Glad that some of you were able to hold out for it. But yeah, it was a good trade. We're getting lighter and lighter. It looks like it's trying to break lower right here. How about a stop of 287 right now? So let's put that in, 286.99. You know, if it comes back in, fine. We are short the market right now. I have almost 30 times the shares or so on these Qs trade than I do on this Google. Google's almost out, right? What, 1 or 2% left of Google, 1 or 2% left of Tesla, as we just let those ride all day. But yeah, Google, tough trade early, but good trade late. Just had some more patience. But I mean, 11 o'clock, that's a little bit of a late starter there, man. It got out of bed a little too late for me there to make some real money on it. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk and talk about tomorrow. Well, we have Tesla coming up in 2 spots, but tomorrow is big day. It's big day. It's NVIDIA, and I'm not so concerned about how this is the whole bearer of the market here. The market can be fine if NVIDIA misses or whatever. But let's go hear the story from Sharif, and then I'll tell you.
That's an Oracle.
Oracle's a different.
Yeah, Jensen disclosing that he has a $500 billion backlog with respect to AI demand. So we'll have to see exactly what is spoken about on the call tomorrow. Of course, NVIDIA reports after the bell tomorrow. Make sure to catch that with us on the market recap. And here's what we're expecting. We're expecting Q3 EPS to come in at $1.25 on revenue of $54.83 billion. But of course, as it always does, it will come down to the guide. And NVIDIA will not guide more than 1 quarter in advance. And for the quarter we're expecting, which is Q4, the January quarter, we're expecting revenue of $61.88 billion. I'm sure a lot of analysts as well will be listening to more partnerships with NVIDIA, as we heard about today with ARM.
Yeah, like the ARM news, well, the crazy thing about the ARM news is the market's doing a rebound, and that didn't benefit ARM one bit. So you can pull up a chart of ARM to verify, but it's not really a trade. So NVIDIA, there's a seller right now at yesterday's low. That's 184.5. I've been trading Intel to the top, but it's actually what's weird that it's very similar. Like there's a consolidation here on Intel, which I've been waiting to break down, but I'd say the same thing is happening in NVIDIA, which makes sense. Like whether you think this is going to end up bullish, bearish, or whatever, there's going to be some positioning. So you're probably going to arrive at some prices, sometimes under a big strike, that are going to find a bit of a wall. Seems like that's the case at 185 right now. So like I've been sort of playing this. I also have SMCI up for a trend break, that if we break down from here, I want to hit an SMCI trend break, because I think that can break the trend. Oh, we're losing our program moderator, doing some work. If I can break the trend if NVIDIA rolls down, or I get the short in Intel back into the volume weighted average price. But I'm closely watching NVIDIA for that. 184.5 to 185, that's your resistance spot. It's not just any level. You're also resisting the 50 period here on the daily. So every single bounce has struggled to a certain extent. Like you struggled there to get back above like 191, and now you're struggling to get above like 185 or so.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing about the 3-day rule that you said there on Disney, because I really, and what I meant by that comment was, I don't think NVIDIA, like they're gonna, unless it's a dramatic miss. Like I just think NVIDIA, we already know what their story is. We're waiting to hear about Rubin. Like if they are ready to ship and distribute and get going on that new chip, then yeah, Zuckerberg and everybody's going to be ready to buy it all up. If there's delays in that, then yeah, that's going to affect their forward guide. So for me, it's just a matter of let's just come out, guns blazing on that stock. Let's figure out, are they going to hit their number? Where's the guide going to be? We already know the valuation is pretty insane. Their current PE is 53. That's a little high, according to Benzinga. 53. You're paying double the market premium right now. Do I think NVIDIA is worth it? Yes, I do. Am I selling NVIDIA? Hell no. But I do want to pick it up maybe Friday. Like I want to give this a little bit get down market. Honestly, wow. Great trade on the futures here right now to the short side. Let's see if it breaks below right here. That would be a really nice break into the VWAP if we can get that. Oh boy. But yeah, I like NVIDIA here. I'm going to stay away this afternoon. We're 1 day away from a big earnings report. Join Neil tomorrow and Adair, and it should be a lot of fun with NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. But I'm going to stay away from this monster today, and even stay away from it Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe not trading wise, but I'm not adding any to my portfolio at that time. This is what we're talking about right now. Nice move down. We have not gotten anything out at these levels on the futures. So let me put something here on the TQQs. Let's go 72 for 10%. See if we can get that on the way down. Oh, Trump is taking steps to dismantle the Department of Education. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You know, you don't want to have your youth educated. That's crazy. And I'm sure that's just tongue in cheek. I mean,
well, I don't want to get into the politics, but
he's not dismantling it per se.
There's like some stuff, well, whatever. I don't want to get into U.S. politics, but all
right,
that's not the first politician that's targeted that department, because a lot of times everything is like run locally, and since that came in, performance hasn't been that good. Okay, so all of that said, and bear with us here, get really accustomed to having the program on to know what shot we're on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're seeing, I'm assuming we can be looking at the chart right now. So there was a trend break off the top here in Intel. Okay, you guys are seeing my chart. There's a trend break on Intel, so I'm short here. Stop goes to the prior bar, now it's back. So when we don't have our program on, I just don't know what camera we're on. It doesn't really matter, and it's not that big of a deal. But jumping into this, giving it to the prior high, very similar thing on SMCI. But I did want to go back to Bitcoin for a quick second. We didn't. It's weird, like you know, somehow crypto wasn't really in the litmus, I suppose, for the rundown. I was long most of that run, and then sort of added. You know, you can put a trailing stop in on something. I kind of believe it's a newer thing. If I'm going to trail out at a level anyways, might as well buy on trend in front of it. And so with that being said, Bitcoin is really leveling off here. If we make another leg higher break of this consolidation, I actually like this for a continuation long. Like for IBIT, for Bitcoin, if we just look at where we're bouncing from, I feel like this is a pretty key area, and we're looking at a one-day relief bounce. So if I'm looking long this afternoon, I want it to be crypto related, but we got to break out of this weird sideways action that we're going in on IBIT. But it's a monster support level, not just big time trend from 2023. It's also that 91 area that got tested underneath, and it looks like we're going to close holding it on the daily. So yeah, I'm still biased to the long side if we can start breaking up, but I'm more willing to buy it higher than anything else. Oh, IBIT. Yeah, like I don't want to be sitting here like, okay, if everything rolls over from here and if we just go to VWAP, I don't want to be trying to buy the dip. I want this to continue uptrend and then be trying to buy it as we get into like 54 or something like that. For now, it's going sideways, but that's also going to be on my radar like it has been all day.
All right, here we go, man. There's the TQs right now coming through. Again, I just called up Apple making moves down here, but there it goes. Huge trade right now on the TQQs. All right, it's Tesla time. Let's go over and get that all figured out. But for right now, we want to make sure that you guys understand that over 3.8 million concussions are reported each year in the United States. And oh boy, OGEN, symbol OGEN, they have something for you. A new treatment for them, intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. This concussion treatment market is projected to reach $9 billion by 2027. Origenics is uniquely positioned here to lead the way. So big shout out to OGEN, symbol OGEN, over there on the NYSE. We want to thank them for their continued support of the stream. And thank everybody for watching, participating in the chat. The only way to get part of the chat, of course, is by subscribing, Fabian, of course, and you know that. And so it's going to be 21.4. There it is. Of you are not subscribed. So hit the subscribe button right now. Get into our chat. Put some notes in the chat there. What's Chicago kids saying? If your kids, oh yeah, he's talking about the.
What does he say?
Yeah, I know, just about education there. Oh. Yeah, look, I don't know what's going on. I mean, we have a different education system here than in the United States, but no matter where you are, hopefully you're short.
Not entirely different, but
with me here. But okay, so let's go back over to the desk and see. Are we? Yeah. What? Oh, yeah. One more for Sharif, and then we'll start talking.
That wasn't up. I didn't. Yeah.
It's Tesla, Katina, man, and they reported 3 more crashes involving robo-taxis in Austin. This is being reported by the EV news outlet Electric. This is from yesterday. I should probably tell you that. This is not new news. Separately, there's really no main headline today on Tesla. Tesla rival XPeng as well, looking at actually planning, I should say, 3 robo-taxi releases for 2026. And guess what, guys? They're not going to use LiDAR. It's going to be a camera-only system, much like Tesla's.
All right, so a little bit different for me on this one than Google. Tesla's going to be, again, one of the largest P&L names, like as an individual name that we've had on the show, just from today, like losing there, protecting the 400, we lost early. You know, came in, lost. So we were down on Tesla. Then we were able to get this dip buy opportunity somehow at 397, and that ripped back up to 400 before losing it again. We averaged back in at that same bottom again and lost it. So we were probably at this point down, not probably, I was gonna say we are down. I mean, I can't reverse it, but that's 10 o'clock, down on Tesla. All right, and then what I was saying was, again, one of the largest P&L names, if looking at the P&L on an individual stock since we started the show, right here, 394, buy, out, up, back in, and boom, to the upside. So we just stayed with it. And if you guys were here at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you heard me talk like this. Let's see if Tesla can go. Let's see if Tesla can go. It's funny, as soon as we went over to those guys at 11 o'clock is really when it went. And it just shot up there. I don't know what happened at 11:05 or whatever, but it really shot up, and that's where it really got going. So, hey, man, I'm proud to do it live on the show. And there it is, man. It's Tesla. Neil, it's a monster trade. It's Tesla. We love it. It's at 400. Let's see where it goes from here.
Yeah, great one. I'm just glad I didn't trade Tesla today, because I would have been looking at one level, and realistically, like, it blew through the bottoms by like $5 or so. And really, what I love about the only good thing I will say about Tesla on the daily chart, because I still don't think this chart looks very good, but you have what seemingly, if you zoom in a little bit here, seemingly a close above 400 gives you a wipeout bottom into 380. And then it gives you a bottoming tail candle with a higher low above $400. But that's presuming it actually closes up here. But all of this is still like consolidating under 420, man, which I don't like. That still looks bearish to me. Not that this is a name that I like to the south side. Not going to fight that one. I don't think I'd even want to short it this afternoon unless it flat bottom breaks in here. Like if we flat bottom break through about $400 and the market gets through VWAP, that's a different story. But it's got to do some kind of a setup first. So yeah, I mean, Tesla can give you an opportunity out there, I think, for a few longs. But if we don't start closing back above $420, that daily chart still looks a little bit weak, in my opinion. And this is a name that doubled up, went bottom to the highs. And if this market takes another leg lower, you know Tesla's going to be in trouble. Side note, XPeng, I think Shreve mentioned XPeng. If you haven't, XPeng's like robot is pretty cool.
Is it?
I mean, yeah, I saw some videos. And suffice to say that from what I saw, and again, I don't know how real it is, it looks pretty cool relative to Optimus. Just going to throw that out there. I do believe in Tesla, still holding my long term. The swing at 220, I only got 2/3 of it out, actually holding the rest. And then I have the same amount of my RSP in Tesla that I did before. Like I haven't sold a single share of my RSP. It was just in the TFSA. But there goes the prior bar high on SMCI. There's your trend break. Prior bar high goes, and I am out of that as we are still heading higher. But Bitcoin is still not breaking out of this consolidation I'm looking for. It's just the slightest little wedge that's being formed that I just wanted to break that wedge to be in this long. Like if it's not going to move, I don't want to be wrapped up in it. If it's going to break, then I do. It's that simple for another leg here in potentially in IBIT, which it's a recovery day for them, but let's be real, it's just one day. Like Bitcoin's been good for one day. I wouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah, it's not even that great. It's up 2% here. But,
exactly.
It's still better than the market. Yeah.
Well, ETH is actually 5%. But then remember what it looked like on the way down. ETH is a little stronger than Bitcoin. But remember it held on to that 3,000 level, which is just as key.
Yeah, and I think we get a lot of talk about BMNR. We'll talk about that as we go throughout the day. We'll look to see if there's any imbalances or whatever in that. So we already have our stop there. Tesla just bounces clean off of VWAP there. Should have probably engaged in that. You know, got a little longer there and took a shot here into the close. I'm not yet on the side of going long yet. You know, we have gotten out of pretty much almost all of it. I have so many fills on this right here. I have 51 trades on the TQs here. And that includes obviously all these fills and then these fills to get out. And just like I said, remember when I was on the 200 period, I was like, I got to get something out here like immediately. So I'm glad that we did because it's bouncing. We haven't even tested the 200 period since noon. And then we just do it right there again. So we have to get out. So we're getting lighter and lighter obviously on this name. And Unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly how many shares I have left of here. I'm going to probably say 25%, maybe a little bit less, probably 20% or so since this top. But my stop is still in the same way, right? So if we get stopped out here, it's 101 flat for the stop out. So I don't know. We are getting a little bit of a pop. I'm not sure. Look, okay, how about this? Let's reshort this, but not until like, let's reshort it for only one more unit, and we'll get it at 90 and just give it a dime. Like, let's see if we can get like the same fill as basically we got right here, and then we'll see if we can bring it back in. And then if we lose on it, man, let's lose 10 cents and be gone, considering we just took $1 on this, if not more than that. So that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing right now, is that watching out for Google, which is now just still going. We had our stop at the 200 period, but there goes Google right now. Huge move. That's $10. So right now we're $21 in the money in these two positions, and it's just like waiting for it. But this is a huge move for Tesla all the way back up right now. Like, that just moved right there, $4. So yeah, as we were saying before, really glad that we were able to trade that. And we were wrong first on Tesla, but there it goes. So there goes the TQ. So finally stopped out of it. That is all good, man. That was a good trade and a good idea. And now maybe we think about flipping over to the longs, but it's kind of a good thing that we still have the longs that we have on. So there it goes, in and out of that trade. And, you know, well done. We only have one red stock today, and that's Google. Other than that, you know, everything else has been pretty straightforward, man. This AMD trade was 235 down to 2. This was $11, but of course we just drip out of it on the way down. A little silly doing that, but all right, maybe the futures just touched the top and now making its way back. We just got out at 101. I don't know. I don't want to lose it all now by getting mad that we got stopped out or anything, but there's the stop out. Let's just see what it winds up doing. If that's going to be the top again, we are getting an increase in volume here on the futures. Let's get rid of that for a second and put back my chart, and then we'll do that. There it is. Yeah, right here. So we are getting a little bit of an increase in volume coming soon. So right into there, maybe that was a decent wick to the top, and we can play off of that. But just giving that a little look. So, all right, Eerie Pages, we can talk about that.
I only threw this up here because, first of all, I have no idea who that is. So if you're addressing me, I don't know who 3 AI trader is, making regular profits for other people. What I can tell you is, at least from a logical standpoint for myself, if someone has a bot that like if you actually have some kind of a trading strategy or automated program or system that routinely makes money, then you would just simply leverage that yourself, scale it yourself. Then why would you sell it? It's a bit of a weird one. Because like, if you can prove it, trust me, there's a bunch of quants out there that are just like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. So I don't know that one in particular, but my response to those are usually about the same thing. That if there's like literally just like, this happens, do A, this happens, do B. Like there's a process to what is your thought process to thinking about a trade and setting up a trade and your process to every single day, which is not the same as just do this every single time. Yeah, like that would be what most traders do, but if you literally just have a bot that makes money, why would a person be selling it to other people? They would just make all the money themselves. That's what hedge funds do. They don't share, they don't sell, they just hoard it all for themselves and make boats of money. So again, I'm not familiar with whoever that might be.
If you're familiar with the trading that we're doing over here, there it is again. There's another 50-cent winner. We just reshorted the TQQ there. So, hey, Eerie Pages, if you're looking to make a little bit of money here, we got stopped out and right back in. We showed you that volume profile. That's why we interrupted there. And there it is. This is a nice move right back in again. Just honestly, man, just stacking it up right now. Like, here we go. This is just another 50 cents. So it just goes to show, like, you know, this is the kind of moves that you can get in this market. It could easily rip back up. We're already out of half. So let's just give it a shot here in case the market has maybe seen a little bit of a top there. We don't have big earnings or anything after market. I'm just, as soon as Adair sends it to me, I'll let you know. I know you already looked here.
Well, there's a couple of names, but I didn't recognize anybody except for, like, I half recognized one of the names, and that's why I said
I'm bringing him on. We will have, Adair just asked me if we're going to have Brian Shannon, and the answer is yes to that, unless he lets me know otherwise. But right now, that is what we're doing. So it should be good. I can't even...
Oh, Lazy Boy reports.
Lazy Boy reports? Okay. We can, okay, that's good. We can check out Raven Boy at some point there tonight. I don't know. But just trying to hold on to this Q's trade and see if it wants to do anything. So we can go back and start taking questions. So anybody has anything in the chat, please, of course, let us know immediately. And we'd be more than happy.
I'm going to restart the visualizer for everybody. Gavin in the chat, you might want to type your symbol again, specifically because I just saw you type a small capper in there. I thought I refreshed. Did I refresh? Oh, there we go. Saw me hit the button. Nothing happened the first time. So yeah, we go ONDS. Of course, it'll end up right back on top. Merck. That's when we talked about this morning for some strength. So pop them in there. Just remember $sign for someone who just typed in Rigetti. I'll do it for you. $sign to make sure that your name gets in there, and then we'll see what you're interested in. MSTR. There you go. Amazon. Amazon did more volume today than AMD, as volatile as the chips were, which I found surprising. I don't love that chart of Amazon either. So a little reload. Another wick top here in this supply zone in Intel. So just continue to short that supply zone or resistance level. It doesn't really matter what you call it. The top in here doesn't seem to want to break. But speaking of Amazon and all that volume, yeah, I don't like the chart of Amazon. See how the futures came back? Futures came back to the highs.
Yes.
Yeah, well, look at Amazon.
You sure?
Nope. VWAP, maybe not more. Pre-market lows, resistance all the way. This actually looks relatively weak to me as well, to the point where why not, whatever, like, this one looks okay too at some highs and resistance, but this is a trend break as well if we lose VWAP. So if this loses VWAP, I think it's Amazon's a short. We get a lot of retail this week. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it just has to do with the fact that this has been relatively not the best Mag 7 name. It's not as bad as Meta, but it hasn't been as good as Google and Apple either. Ashar, it's the same thing. The only thing that's different is that for retail traders, we understand that it might be very different for you because you might only be able to go long, the inverse. But at real trading, it's effectively the exact same thing. Adara?
Oh, hi. Let's take a look here at the market because I'm seeing some reports that the U.S. is planning to approve the sales of chips to Saudi AI venture Humane. Now, this actually kind of aligns with a couple different reports.
Okay. Thanks, Adara. We'll cut her mic. It's not working out, so we'll get back to Adara ASAP when it is working. So just to answer that question, SQQ versus TQQ, same thing. But I just want everybody to understand something here. This is why, this is how I trade. You saw me take a 10-cent hit, right? Now this trade is in the money 60 cents. Here's a 6-to-1. I start piecing it out. Like we started piecing it out at 4-to-1 right there as we took 40 cents or so, or 30 cents, sorry, on that. And then it just sort of bled down. But then now we're getting out at the 50 period again. So you test the high of the day. We talked about the volume there increasing, and then there's the pullback down in. So just to give you guys a note, because we always talk about what different styles are and this and that. And obviously Neil and I have dramatically different styles, and so does, I don't know if Joe and Sharif, I think me and Joe are very similar. Sharif has his own little thing that he does. But that's what it's about, right? It's trying to figure all that stuff out. And if you guys want, I've only traded 4 names today, all pretty easy and all pretty much exactly like this. So the only thing that you have to do when you're working on this kind of a strategy, which is why I tell you, and we've already talked about share sizing, how important that is that you make sure that you have the right shares at the right time. And, sometimes on the way back up, we don't have, as many shares as we do when it's going against us or anything like that. So here we go. We're just doing the same trade again. Here's another reload, trying to give it another shot, another 10 cents right now. So we just reloaded what we had put on here. So let's now see, we just got short at 94s. So it's just flat now. Let's see if we can almost do the exact same trade. So if our first position is going to be out of a break up at the top side, then let's put a bid right here. And there it is. So there, see, Neil, we did it live in front of everybody again right there. So this is the trading, watch it. And there it goes. Good trade back there to the downside. And there's some money again for everybody. So Merry Christmas, Neil, and to everybody out there, because there's a lesson live. Sean's lesson of the day, trading right there. How and now I'm already out of half of this trade already right now as it comes back in. So I'm gonna take another piece right now. And there it is, man. There's 35 cents to risk 10, and now even more. And if this market does collapse, then oh boy, we got that winner on again. So far so good here with just that one trade. So now we're short. You just saw me do it live. Unlike other shows, unlike this and that, you know, we're doing stuff live, and that's, you know, what's really proud. And you guys can vet us every day, you know, and there we go. So nice upside play. There's reasons why we do what we do here, and hopefully you guys are seeing some of that. So yeah, we are going to go back as soon as Adara's mic is less choppy, and we're just going to hear that from Andre.
Yeah,
there was some static there, but there's a real-time trade for you guys. So there you go.
And that's the thing, you talk about the different styles. Like for me, like I'm never really looking for that trade at all. You know, I'm looking for, we're going from here to here. We're going from here to here. We're going from here to here. So I'll sit in a short with my stop here, and then I'm not looking to cover until it's breaking outside of the range. Or you get a definitive break and you can add some a little bit in. And again, it just comes down to the different styles. I did want to say, someone in the chat mentioned that this is not good for Bitcoin. I agree with you. Like that supply zone, it's not breaking higher. It's actually breaking down a little bit. So it looks like it's going in the other direction. And we're going to go back over to Darren in a quick little second. And that's going to bring me over to Mara. I actually did reverse long in Mara eventually with Bitcoin, but it wasn't as good of a long as Bitcoin. Like every time I get it, it just would not follow through. So I'd be in a consolidation and it wouldn't follow through. But if this one, if I see Bitcoin break down and I'm playing Mara off the highs, then I'll go back to the last couple of days, which is shorting it. Let's try Adara and see if we can't get that mic issue fixed.
We should be good now, guys. Let's talk here about, I have the market up here, but you can keep an eye on any of these semiconductor names as well, because I am seeing reports suggesting that the U.S. is planning to approve the sale of chips to Saudi AI venture Humane. Now, this does actually run up with some reports we heard earlier today. We know Humane's reportedly going to be announcing some, I guess, partnerships tomorrow with some American firms, including I saw Amazon, XAI, and AMD. This also aligns with some of the talk we heard between the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia and U.S. President Donald Trump earlier today as well, with Trump indicating that he would consider, I guess, sending, quote, lower level or certain level chips to Saudi Arabia. So again, it does sound like specifically with regards to this AI venture Humane, the U.S. is likely to approve chip sales there. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. And yeah, you also saw LMT moving around a little bit off of that meeting as well on some defense talk. I believe, it wasn't Airy Page, someone in the chat was asking specifically, it was David, expand on what a supply zone is. So the thing about a supply zone is just an area where the stock is happy trading for a while, like there's buyers and sellers in equilibrium. You can call it support and resistance, but it's a little different from that. See how the stock goes from moving to barcoding? Like there's yesterday's close on Intel at 34.71. It gets up to that level, Noah was in it, stopped out on a short there, and I decided, okay, well, if it's gonna, instead of doing this chop scalp trade, I'll sit in the supply zone if I'm looking reversion on it in front of that prior day close and look for the pullback in a short. So it's just a price area where you have, whether it's consolidation, whether it's barcoding, there's just some kind of an equilibrium that gets met. And then you're looking to play the breakout in either direction. So yeah, equilibrium could be something that, an easier way to call it, maybe support and resistance, although I think it's different from support and resistance. Because that can happen at a level that doesn't mean anything when you look at a higher time frame chart. Right? Like you could see a stock just barcode in the middle of nowhere. Right? Like it might happen at a support and resistance. In this particular case, it happens to be the prior day close.
I mean, I have a live example. I know it's not a trade that you would take here, but like this TQQ, up, right? A lot of resistance up at this side, and we just did it for you guys live there. So that's a good example right there. So thanks for the question. Keep those questions coming. Yeah, exactly, Dogo. So yeah, I am very careful of a breakout through 101, hence the stop out right there. You know, and you have to, when you're trading with size, you can't hold something breaking through. You know, like very, 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 very important point there. So just to let you guys know again, like, here comes Tesla. We just got a nice out there on Tesla as it bumped back into 406. So just one spot left for Tesla to get out. Hopefully we don't get out at 402, but that's where our stop is. If it does get down into there, which means it'll be, oh good, trade here for the TQs because we're short. So if we do stop out there, fine by me. We have it ready to go. But now we're starting to make moves back in. So we wanted to definitely take a piece out right there at the 50 period, which we did. Next stop, basically 100 flat, which we're at right now. And again, here's that trade again. you know, where we put it on, our stop was over 101, so 10 cents worth of a stop, and right now it's 70 cents, and we took it live, and I think we did a good job of, or at least I did a good job there of explaining this trade, I feel like. So let's see if we can come back down. We just took a piece out at 15. Let's get a piece out again at 05 if we manage to do that, and then we'll see about lows, and hopefully we'll get another piece out here at 80 if there it is. Did we get the 05s? Yes, we did. Okay, so good. So we get the $100.05. So there it is again, man. That's 90 cents right there. So just as quick as you like, right back in either TQs or SQs. I prefer TQs. I've really traded a lot of this volume-wise, so over my career, and just more recently in the last little while, we've turned over to trade some futures, and it's been obviously part of the highlight of the show, I feel like, when we're trading the futures. It's easy to watch, and so are other stocks. So I was looking at the bank stocks here today, thinking about, you know, do I want to dip buy? And the name for me was going to be SoFi. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any buying over lunch or anything like that at all. But right into here for finance, you know, some of these names, JP Morgan was down almost 2% today. Now it's flat. So that's really nice, up at $300.50 right now. Berkshire, oh yeah, let's go TQs, man. Nice break now as we get lower and lower and lower. And oh boy, here we go, man. Nice move down in. We just took another fill. We're right here. We're almost at that 200 period moving average. We did take a $100 flat fill right there. And there it is, man. Just in front of you, there's another dollar club right there. So far so good right there. But yeah, I really do like the financials. Most of them green today, not Visa, not MasterCard, but most of these names in the green side of things. So that's been a good day for them. Apple holding positive. I mean, again, another big name. Google holding positive. Amazon was the one at the beginning of the day. I said, this is the short. And it looks like that is the case right here, 225.50. So we'll see about some Amazon. Costco still down. And then Home Depot continues to make those moves down. So yeah, these TQQs, man, again, a derivative of the NASDAQ 100. And yeah, just spotted pretty good here. We just got another piece out underneath $100 there. And now it's just coming right back up. This is pretty wild movement here today. I don't know if we're going to get back down 1% or not. I feel like these bids are trying to hold. We'll just take another fill there at $100.10. But yeah, maybe Softy or Microsoft or maybe more Intel.
What's interesting is Meta's actually the top of the list, believe it or not. Meta, BBI, ONDS. Meta's above 600, but that might be temporary, everybody. And there's no, like, there isn't an obvious level on Meta until you get to yesterday's support, which is a pretty big one at 603, and it just tagged that. So this could be breaking trend. We were talking about how Meta is distinctly different from Alphabet, almost the exact opposite. If you look at that daily chart, still settling in to find a bottom, 580 is a level, but let's be real. Like, you got to start at least thinking about 540, 550. I like the valuation here. I think it makes a lot of sense, but I've already bought once. I'm DCAing into a stock that I feel like I'm underweight on relative to other valuations. And, you know, like, I think I have enough NVIDIA, at least at these prices, so I'm pretty happy with that. But something like a Meta, that's one I want to be buying on dips. Alphabet, from a valuation standpoint, despite being opposing charts, I think is exactly the same thing. If it's a good value, you just DCA it. But Meta 600, that really needs to hold as far as I'm concerned. So first stage down, you do get a bit of a breakdown coming here in Intel, right? Like, it gets down to 34.5. When it comes back up to the top, if it does another topping tail, just try to jump back in, waiting for the volume weighted average price. And I see the number 2 name on the list. I always think BBAI is a New York stock. Big Bear AI, 10% today. I'll cop to having not looked at it. That being said, everyone seems to be interested in when is this thing going to bottom. I like symmetry. That's very symmetrical at the low. Almost to the penny. This is now bounced 3 times off of the 200 period moving average. And the last time it went to $7. So why not? Like, that's a nice, there's your, whatever you want to call it, rounded bottom, whatever it might be. You break out 6, quarter or so, and this has room to $7. Maybe that's a tomorrow thing. I don't know. Maybe that's this afternoon thing, but that's pretty strong. And it's just looking at what the move did the last time. You know, got all the way up to $7, was all the way into that 50 period moving average, but that's a clean, it's respecting the 200 period moving average. And if you like a stock that respects it, then that's where you should trade from. Well, I think that's, unless something ridiculous happens this afternoon, this should be a continuation long tomorrow, assuming it closes up here. All bets are off if we lose this bid, end up closing in like the 550 range, and then I would say, yeah, forget all about it. Not going to happen. I don't like what I'm seeing in Bitcoin, but we are trying to creep back up here. I still have, I'm going to cancel the stop order. I don't want to auto break long if Bitcoin takes out the high, because the market keeps getting to the top, and I'll show you what I don't like. And Bitcoin just continues to kind of trend down. So I feel like if the market's going higher and this isn't, then it's not the right place to look for a long, so I'm going to can that idea. I know Bitcoin's been a good long today, but there's no follow through anymore, unfortunately. So waiting for the reload here. And yeah, I could be consolidating, dogs are not cats. But what I was going to do before on Bitcoin was automatically take this break. Like essentially had a trend line drawn where I was just taking the breakout no matter what happens. I can just jump into it. Like here, I wasn't taking a breakout. I was manually punching into the position when I saw the buyers come in. Same thing here. I'll just do it that way if Bitcoin's going to end up being a long breaking back through this like 53.10 or so, or IBIT, I should say. Some people don't like you saying it when you're not trading the actual thing. And we could trade Bitcoin here. It's just so much easier not to. From an order entry standpoint, from an account management standpoint, easier to trade an ETF, which is exactly like your regular equity trading. So that's what I'll always do. Although we did trade it once while we were beta testing.
Yeah.
It was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing when I'm talking about the TQs here. All right, so just on the way back up, man, more outs. Like, more outs. Now we're holding a third. Yeah, about a third, actually a little bit less than a third, as we come right back upside again, right into these levels again, man. This is why we get excited when it makes those moves down, because you got to take advantage and take something out. I'm going to bid 75 again and then 55, and hopefully we're able to get that out. But I am feeling like we are going to eventually run this top here, as the market just pretty resilient. Looks like it's trying to go green. I'm cheering the green. I actually want this thing to go green. Why? Because now this is $11 in the money, and now Google still continues to go higher. What about some of those beat up names, right? Like SMR and Rigetti and some of these names that there's no way I would be, promote. Well, there. Okay, so. Okay, could have reloaded it, did not. I would not suggest investing in these names. Now, I put a little bit of money back into SMR, the same amount that I got out at 57, I put back at 30. Oh, that's Rigetti. So this one's, glad it wasn't, okay, boom, again, nice trade there again. As we just able to take out the TQs to the downside, we just get that 50 fill that we're talking about right there immediately. So hallelujah on that one too, wow. Okay, things going well for me here. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is buy good companies is what I'm trying to say. So, if you're in a Rigetti or an SMR, just make sure that you do your work on it. And I wouldn't just try to be too overloaded on some of these names, man, as if the market loses a bid, which it has been doing, you never know how dramatic these losses can get. Like I was just saying, completely different than getting out of Oracle near the highs and getting out of this name at the highs. But like that was right there all the way back in, and just had like such violence there when it goes, because all of a sudden like 10% goes and you're like, what just happened? And you're getting into an area where I think we can start to maybe add into some of our position. But again, to be out there and back in here at 30, not a great entry, but we did put some more money back in at the 200 period there. So, take that for what it's worth right here on SMR. But
my thing is I wouldn't take it. I don't want to dime more of that if I'm not willing to buy GE Vernova. Like if I'm not willing to dip buy in an actual energy nuclear name that makes money, then why am I willing to buy back into SMR yet? So because I haven't bought back fully into GE Vernova, and until I'm said that I've done that, I don't want to buy anymore.
I think that's why we always talk about things we like to buy, right? But the real question is like when things are up high, like what are you selling, right? Like I'm only rebuying SMR because I got out at 57. Like if I was still in it, I agree with Neil. There's no way I wouldn't be rebuying it there. I just thought it was overcooked.
What's your definition of still in it? I don't know.
Still in it just means you own a share, right? So if you're still in it, I would just say that like if
you had 1,000 shares, and you sold 90%, you wouldn't buy back into it.
Well, that's basically what I did, but I sold it all out. But what I'm saying is I put in 10% or so back in. Yeah, like
exactly.
I'm not trying
to work your way back in.
Yeah, I work my way back in. But I'm saying the thing is, if you don't get out up here, it's the same thing like as Tesla, right? Like we could say, well, when am I willing to buy Tesla? But oops, I was just typing in 440 there. because I was going to talk about the price. But it's like right now, if you exited Tesla, if you had something up here and you were able to get out at 460, 470, even if you got out of, to Neil's point, if you have 100 shares and you got out of 30 shares up here, you know, now you're $60 essentially in the money on those 30 shares, you know, because now that's been sitting in cash that you now have, that if you didn't sell, you're able to buy it back now, and then you have kind of $60 to play with. So, yeah, but, you know, we're not financial analysts or anything here or financial advisors. You know, we just looking at stock and talking about our own positions. And most of these stocks that I'm in now, it's a forever. Like SMR is not a forever. You know, BBAI, you guys already know that. We were long at 4, out 550, 650, 750, 850, and holding 40% and not buying BBAI anymore. You know, so if you're going to buy some of these stocks, have your dedicated outs. But stocks like Microsoft or Meta, as you talked about Meta there, or Google or something like that, unless you're Joe or something and you do have a planned swing trade idea like he does on some of those trades, I would just say in those names, look for good value and go for it, yeah. You know. But yeah, averaging into SMR like down every 5%, if you believe in the name, you know, sure, go for it, you know.
I just can't have confidence in that
one.
Such
a slow game.
I keep waiting for G Vernova to break down. That's all I'm thinking. It's just this name. If this isn't breaking down for me to get back in what I sold, then I don't like. This is a priority easily over something like an SMR, yeah, because I feel like I can hold this one forever. Now let's go over to Adara at the desk as we're starting to come in.
This part of our show is brought to you by our good friends at AIML, because guys, your heart will beat 100,000 times today. And every beat is a data point. AIML Innovations trading on the CSE as AIML and the OTCQB as AIMLF turns that data into potentially life-saving insights with max yield, an AI engine that filters noise, labels each heartbeat with lab-grade precision, and shrinks ECG analysis from days to minutes. Their mission, to revolutionize how heart disease is detected, monitored, prevented. Learn more at AIML Health AIML_health and follow AIML_Innova on X. I do want to mention quickly, guys, before we go back to Sean and Neil, I'm just seeing here NVIDIA apparently announcing that they're expanding their collaboration with Microsoft through the adoption of NVIDIA Spectrum X Ethernet switches for new Microsoft Fairwater AI Superfactory. So more NVIDIA and Microsoft tie-ups. We know earlier today, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Anthropic announced a partnership. So this is the second NVIDIA Microsoft team up we've heard today. Back to you.
Thank you.
More outs here on the Qs, but you know, we've already sort of talked about that. Maybe too much. So let's just keep on looking elsewhere right now. Yeah, so more outs there. Let's just let it bleed down. We do have our out for Tesla, which is, again, very, very small position. We're lucky to get it out there. I'm going to get out if it breaks VWAP. It is what it is. And we do have a 286 break right here for our good friend, and it is a really good friend of mine today. That's Google, Tesla, and the Qs. So I've only traded 4 names today: Tesla, the Qs, Google, and then AMD, which was really the kicker right there off the open as we get ready for NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. Look, if there's a big news story, something that spikes, I mean, we can go over and look at this, but for me right now, I'm just going to stone cold chill and give it a break here. And we've just hit a couple days limits here for myself on trading today, so a big successful day here, just looking to make more good decisions moving forward. So yeah, that's about it for me, and you're still in Intel. So my trading is pretty exhausted today, but yeah, we're looking for more. So give us some ideas in the chat, and we can.
Yeah, nothing's popping off my scanner right now. Usually, I think there's going to be something in the afternoon. Like if I look at here, this is what I'm looking at. When I look up, this is what I'm looking at. I'm scanning names. Apple, which I happen to be on right now, not doing anything. Like, see a noticeable thing about my trade rate. Like there is nothing that is abnormal in here. It's just all the regulars, and nothing's actually going crazy. So it's a bit different. Like you're used to seeing a little bit more than that, but you don't want to necessarily overtrade. I mean, here's the reality. Part of being consistent is sometimes sitting on your hands, for lack of a better term. I see some names getting thrown in the chat. Don't forget, Danny, hit that $ when you put a symbol in there like plug, right? Yeah, there's a barcode. Plug's up 9% today. I guess everything is beaten up is kind of getting a relief rally. But Yeah, that's kind of an interesting move there on plug. But the volume good, but nothing too insane happening. It's kind of like a slow grind, I think.
I just put this up. Yeah, what's up, Carlos, man? You are welcome for that one. 9K alone on Tesla and Google.
It's all about making them ducats, man.
Let's go, man. Yeah,
let the good trades pay.
Exactly. Congratulations on that one, guys, for sure. Yeah, throw the super chat up, man. We love that. All right, here we go. Don't rage trade. 30K puts, 30K worth of puts against one of the banks you use. What? Unless it works. Cheers to all. Okay, well, Dave's really dumb trade of the day. Don't rage trade 30K puts. Yeah, so you did that?
Don't do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, for puts and all that kind of stuff, like all that stuff expires. Like I've always wondered about like what duration are you guys taking on some of these things? Because $30,000 is too much for me to see go down to zero if I was wrong on those kind of plays. But shout out to you, David. And what bank was that? I'd like to know. Not that I care about what bank you bank at, but is that the trade that you're putting on or one that you're actually thinking about right there?
Also, why would it being the bank you use matter?
That's what I'm saying. I think he's pissed off at it. That's what I'm saying. Rage trading. I wonder.
Yeah, like the chart's a chart. Like I don't. Yeah, like you get too wrapped up in that. I remember there was a point where I'm just going to use an example that I did that was dumb. I was putting money into in my long-term account. I own mostly Canadian banks, and I was like, oh, I'm going to put some more money into the banks, and I always own the same bank, but because I have a good friend who I respect that worked at another bank, and we were talking about it. We were talking about for the prospects of it. Look, man, he made a very compelling case, and I spent the weekend. I'm like, let me put that money into this other bank. When really, and the funny thing is, the bank that I already owned, it's like over the next year, I've done like 30% better if I just kept buying the bank that I already did. But I kind of, let a short-term bias get me away from what was my more strategic thinking. David, you can back out, and it was JPM and just one of mine, and it was a put into next year. We had a question this morning. It was gun to head. I picked JPM. What was the other thing?
SoFi.
JPM and SoFi. I just felt safer in JP Morgan right now than SoFi. I just feel if SoFi rolls over here and you are at a market top, if SoFi dropped $7, I don't think I wouldn't be freaking out. Like, I don't think that would be insane. If JP Morgan, because what's that, 28%? Okay, it's actually a little bit less than that, but it doesn't really matter. So 26%. If JP Morgan dropped 26%, we got bigger fish to fry, right? Like my first thought, like if this thing actually drops that much in the short term, we're freaking out for other reasons. Where if SoFi did it, you'd be like, oh, okay. And that's where my head is at right now. Like I don't want to be buying anything where the valuation is concerning me right now. I think that time in the market is past a little bit, at least until we maybe even get into next year, or at least see what the Fed does in December. That'd be my first thought. Is what it is. And someone said, Molfar, Neil's all about safety, untrader-like. To each their own. I will say this, 100%, I am in the minority. Of all the traders I've seen that have had any kind of a longer career, I'd say I'm in that lower percentile where I think first of risk. So I tend to always be a little bit more consistent on a day-to-day basis and not always the biggest swing. But you just have to lean into what you are. And so that's what I lean into because that's what's worked for me for a very long period of time. But it should be obvious. Like the fact that you can say that, it should be obvious. Because if you couldn't tell, then that would mean I don't have a way of thinking that has internal consistency, right? So if you can't figure out, looking at and talking to and observing a trader's like style and strategy, then it means they're a little bit too ad hoc and they don't really have a sense of who they are or what they're trying to become, which is fine. Everyone's trying to figure things out. Yeah, but certainly I lean that way. No questions asked. But I also believe that 10% of my personal portfolio is to be in high risk stuff as well. Like that's why I do try to keep 5% Bitcoin. I'll never get out of all of an SMR. I'll roll like the last 30% as a free roll. Same thing with QUBT. So I do lean that way, but after I've taken a profit on those types of longer term plays. But to each their own. And we got another super chat in here. Ooh, Nebius. Let me throw that one up here. Thank you. Adam, could you please take a look at Nebius and provide some brief technical analysis? It's been a popular stock recently. Nebius. I will tell you this much. I know for sure that Adara has looked at this stock a lot. My guess is because of the technical breakdown it's doing here. Not sure what happened. I guess it's just an earnings gap where the gap I don't know why that's not filling in. But if you look at this, I'm assuming this is an earnings gap, right? So it held the support from this earnings gap, but it's still consolidating under here. So lost to 50, still trying to recover after earnings to get above 97. Here's the good news. On the long-term time frame, it kind of looks like that Tesla breakdown under 420, but there's your temporary rounded bottom. Unless it breaks out 95, take it one step at a time. If you break out here, then you can get a bit of a relief rally in Nebius. But it's got that little rounded bottom action since the earnings. It's that last step to make the breakout, which hasn't completed yet. I always like to see it do the rounded bottom, then break away from said rounded low. Don't like trying to catch falling knives after earnings. Let's go to Adara. Looks like we got some news.
Yeah, guys, just be aware. We have more commentary from the Bureau of Labor Statistics when it comes to when we're getting these economic releases. Apparently, September PPI, or Producer Price Index, that's going to be coming out on November 25th. Now, apparently, the BLS is also saying that U.S. import and export price indices are going to be released on December 3rd. So both those for September. So again, BLS saying PPI for September, November 25th. Import-export for September, December 3rd. So they're scheduling all these releases, again, pretty far out into the future here with this one. The import and exports in like 2 weeks from now, guys. Back to you.
Good to see some of those numbers coming through. It'll give us a little bit more idea of what exactly is going to happen here. I'm going to refresh this. This is going to be December the 10th right here. So back, I mean, pretty much the exact same as it was this morning. It was a 50-50. I think it was like 52-48 or something like that. So right here into the close right now, until we get more data and something changes, I mean, right now the market is really sort of hinging on the rate cut, and that's why the market's been down over the last week or so, is because we've sort of gone from 100%. Here, I mean, just goes to show right here, 93%. Back on 1 month ago, October the 17th, we were 93% for 350 to 375. So that's been chopped in half or so, right? So almost 100% into 93%. So now we got to be careful of where we're going, right? It was only 6.3% chance. We even had a chance of 50 basis points back in October. That's where the market was. It was 0% chance that we stayed where we were right here. So yeah, that's what's leaning on this. So if we can get some more data, then I'm with all of you guys, and think that that will hold the key to what's left in this market. And we have tomorrow's a key with NVIDIA. Let me check out what's going on with Robinhood. And we said, like, whoopsies, 337. As 33, what's 377? Oh, Hood options. Okay, right here. So this thing's actually holding out a little bit better than I thought it would have. You know, I was saying that this has a 9 handle on it. So meaning it breaks $100, gets into the 90s, and then, you know, you start scooping at that point. But right now, with crypto sort of bouncing a little bit today, it's a nice recovery for sure for Robinhood. So maybe I'm a little bit too negative on this name, and we might have seen our low there. But, you know, the name that I'm in, and going to have to be in it for a long time now, is Webull, because that's down to $8. So may put some more money to work.
What's the actual low on Webull, though?
Yeah, 8. Like 8, I think is the low, 795.
I thought there was like a crazy...
No, I think that's it. So right there on Webull, I mean, I can check it out on eSignal. It's going to say 795 or so, I think. Oh, I can't see 789, something like that. Whatever this low is right there. Yeah, 789, 790. We just made it this morning at 8 a.m. I don't think we've been lower than that. But here we go. So, you know, up 4%. Sometimes when stocks make lows and then get sort of capitulated there, I don't see like a capitulated volume spike here today, 15 million shares. But I don't know what the average daily volume is. But yeah, just nothing too exciting there today on Webull, but nicely cooking now up 4% and just riding this 200 period all the way to the top side. So, you know, congratulations to anybody that took Webull this morning. Got yourself quite a nice little run there from 8 to 850. Still down, you know, 8 to 850 is not 4%. You're still kicking it from yesterday. This move happened all yesterday, right into $8, and then it holds. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for, like previous hold spots there, where you sort of have some supply zone or demand zone where people are looking to buy it up at $8. So this Q's short is right here. This is supply, right? So I'm over here supplying these shorts giving people an opportunity to buy. I'm just like, okay. So now we're $1 in the money on this move as this comes back down in, right? So yeah, just watch out there for Robinhood. I still like the stock, and I really like SoFi. Maybe 1 or 2 more down days. Like, I really think I'll be doing some scooping on Wednesday, Thursday here, especially if NVIDIA leads us even lower. I want to buy some of that. So.
Oh, we missed this for Daniel.
Okay.
Mr. Westermeyer.
Okay.
Neil and Sean, if you had to put every cent you own into a put on NVIDIA, expiring this Friday, would you go put or call? Okay, so you're asking if we do. So I have to go put. What? Joe is saying there should be a third option, and it should be the straddle. If that's an option, I'd rather do that. But yeah, if I had no choice, gun to the head, I'd probably say put. So there you go. But I don't know. I would rather. Honestly, I'd rather bet that nothing happens. To be honest with you, if the third option is that I can make a bet that nothing happens, that's what I would rather do. But if you're gonna make me put a gun to my head, then just for the fun of the experiment, kind of like the JPM SoFi thing. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? If you had no choice, it was like if you had to put every cent you own into a put or a call expiring Friday, you're going to go call. I'd rather straddle and say nothing's happening. But
yeah, of course, take the high road. But if you had to pick it, I think,
I don't have a choice.
Yeah, so no, I just think, NVIDIA is the greatest company in the world. It's minted the most millionaires. I'd rather be long the name than short the name. So that's what I'm saying. You're going to get different opinions here. That's just, I think there's a big possibility that NVIDIA blows the top, so rather than tanking. So watch out for NVIDIA, in my opinion, but thanks for that. And that's what makes it the world go round. And just like when I was selling here, the TQ, someone was buying. All right, so SMR, Rivian. Yeah, I got some questions about Rivian. Let's go have a quick look at Rivian. And we all do know that our good friend, Randy, that's Rob. I think Randy might have left already. He's gone? Long gone, says Rob. That's what I was saying about Randy. Here early and gone early. All right, so I just wanted to say Rivian's had a great day all the way back up to the upside. So we were just kind of joking about it earlier, how it was so beat up. But look, all kidding aside, it falls right into the 50-period moving average. So kind of right into your lap right there, and now trying to work its way back northbound is Rivian. So again, really like this stock, but not at these levels. I'm long down here 10, 11 bucks. So I feel like that's decent areas down here to start to buy. And this is what I'm saying again, it's it's so easy to make calls for stocks we like, but it's you have to make the call to get out up here. I didn't do it. The first time I did, I got out at 18, and only some of them, I think it wasn't even the first time. I think it was, I already talked about this. It was either here or here. I just have to look back, but didn't do it again. So now it's now you sort of suffer through some of these moves. But again, if you're buying good companies at good levels, then it just makes the trade a lot easier. Thank you, Cyberwolf, for your comment on the hat. And yeah, we have one rule around here, and that is be comfortable. So that's what we wear. We wear whatever we want that makes us feel comfortable. So as traders, of course, you don't need to be in a suit and a tie or anything like that. That would be yeah. If it's comfortable, that's what I'm saying. If it's comfortable, but
some people like that.
That's that, right? So all right, I don't have too much else to go, man. I think
Bro Jogan was. That's as simple as it gets.
Yeah.
VIX.
What did you say? The VIX.
Sure. What is it at right now? I'll call it for you. What? Oh, okay, that's why, because I typoed it right there. So what are we sitting at right now? Not much happening on the VIX. We're chilling at 23.5. And see, here's the thing. It's ever so slightly breaking back up. Bro Jogan, say that 3 times fast, just the brain is used to saying something else, obviously. No, you're ever so slightly breaking up, which kind of halfway leads you to thinking pullback, right? If this chop is breaking out up, then kind of bet that we're going to break down. While this is happening, the futures are in a consolidation without breaking the low. Well, this is a consolidation that is breaking the top right now. So is leading things a little bit. A bit of a tick up here. It doesn't have to go very far for this to get to like VWAP or 100 points down, right? But that's, you know, it's just another thing they might give you confluence with about 25 minutes to go till the imbalances come in. Oh, that was the other thing. BM&R was on here again. Oh, it's only not. This was over 1 million before. So BM&R has been a sell imbalance like a lot. There it is, over 1 million shares again. Now back to 900,000. So about 1 million. Stock sell. And that's a bit weird that it's a 2 million buy, but I think that one hasn't mattered. SMR early look, almost 1 million shares to sell early look on SMR. So between that and BM&R, sell imbalances, weird that stock sell is a buy. Oh, it just flipped. 2 million to 1.2. Yeah, I think BM&R is worth watching.
Stock sell is always going back and forth there.
Yeah, I think, you know what, there's probably a lot of gaming that goes in there. Like just people are like throwing massive orders into the auction, cancel, and put them back in to maybe to hide their intent.
Still so early. I mean, you still got 25 minutes until these numbers come out. So worth watching. If you do have the opportunity, eSignal also has the availability of the imbalance locator.
You just have to entitle yourself.
Yeah, if you just ask somebody over there, I think they use the ARCA imbalance locator or something there with eSignal, so you could definitely check them out. Oh, there we go. I saw the white screen there behind us.
Yeah,
there,
you could really
show you guys that there's a little bit different opportunities here. So that's a screened desk again coming through. All right, myself. I believe Adam on the recap show.
Yes.
I have to confirm the name, but it should be fun there tonight on the recap show. Adam on the recap show tonight. So excited to have him. So we're going to be joined. New host, so take it easy. Just beat me up, don't beat him up. And we'll be very, very kind and very excited to do that as we expand the show, right? Like Neil and I, based on popular demand, you guys want us off the recap show. So we're going to find others to join Adara. And Adam, no pressure. Your tryout is in about 35 minutes.
None whatsoever.
All right, no pressure whatsoever. Unfortunately, you'll be working with me.
You got it.
So the good thing, Adam, is that if you're working with me, you know, you can't be that wrong.
Oh, come on.
Because, you know, I'll be sitting there with you. So that should be good. And right now, I don't know, Adam, I don't know what kind of stocks you're in right now, but oh boy, we're doing it again on this side right now. There goes the TQs. And again, like Neil said, a trade that only I would make around here, this is a nice move to that play on the TQs as it continues to get a little lower. And as per my usual stance on these type of things, I don't have that many shares left, and I wish I did. That's one thing that I try to do better. But at least we held for this. We're waiting for VWAP. It's a nice move now into the downside. So trader. Here's somebody. I'm going to put this on the chat. Someone started with us 5 years ago. So thank you. So here it is. Oh no, wrong one. Not you, Johnny. If you can find that, I'm going to put it up. My thing just keeps on flipping every time, but whatever.
It's hard
to do it. I don't know. We got to get that so it doesn't scroll too much. Oh, here it is right here. What's up, Trader 604? I started with Neil and Sean 5 years ago. So there it is, man. Thank you so much for continuing to watch. I hope that you can see, the changing of my style for sure over this last year and so. And it's been a really good one. And thank you to everybody for watching, right? I mean, we continue to, I hope, put on a good show, make you guys laugh, give you an opportunity to trade, ask us some questions, have a good time, all completely free.
Yes.
So, just stay with us, man. There's bigger and better things coming as we keep on telling you.
Oh, Noon Loon, that's a good one. Who's the habitual line stepper? That's my favorite, for sure. And, it's Maryland Mom. I found you during the pandemic. That's how it all started.
Boom.
Like, to be honest, right place, right time. Like, we happened to go to YouTube from an internal broadcast to YouTube at the beginning of the pandemic, which is obviously very timely because everyone was sitting at home and wanting to trade. So that's where it all started. And I felt like we spent most of the day talking about meme stocks, to be honest with you. Because that's what was moving at the time. Like, if we had done it maybe a couple of years before, we'd have been talking about weed stocks.
Yep.
From the very beginning. So, I mean, more or less the same move. The only difference would be, this has gone about half a point right now, which is more or less what the futures have done. So, but I'm in half of it still. Scalp to this range, but the other half I want VWAP. That's all. So just a little bit different. Like I'm waiting to get the second half out after we break the range and look to get all the way into the volume weighted average price. Not distinctly different from how I trade in the morning, just so you have more volatility in the morning. So like you're waiting for bigger gaps in the morning, and then at lunchtime you're waiting for maybe like some tighter gaps. But I'm trying to hold this as it breaks down and then wait for key price levels, VWAP being one of them, and then the morning range top being the other. So now that it's broken through here, just wait for it to get into that morning range, which is kind of coming in pretty quickly. All right, BMNR is really not growing, so that's going to be a bit of a nothing burger for me. I'm keeping eyes on that because that's been probably the top thing, I think, at the close for a lot of traders out there, and that's what we want. And Rivian Millionaire, the clip does exist of that HKD. It's just a matter of how to get it.
Fabian, check your
It
chat.
certainly does exist, I'll tell you that much. Someone was asking about the HKD.
It was DWAC. The one with
Either
me?
or. I mean, HKD, I mean, everything's on YouTube. Like, it's all there. It's just a matter of, you remember the day you can find it, right? Like, everything is still on YouTube. So if you know the day that a move happened, just go back to that day and you can certainly find it on the live show. In terms of us, like, saving the clip, we don't always have clips and stuff like that because it's all live for you guys.
Mean. I could find it. I could find that DWAC clip. It's with Trader Prad that was here in the past as well. So yeah, we do have that clip somewhere. I could go and find it. I think it was DWAC, not HKD, the one I'm remembering. But there could be more.
Except no one, nobody traded
for,
HKD, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it probably was DWAC, and it was one of the greatest moments, I think, in Trader TV. Not just because I was part of it, but I think it was a lot of us were excited for that trade. So that was a lot of fun back in the day, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. So thank you for remembering and putting a smile on this guy's face.
DWAC funware. Sure. Thanks, Nick. I guess we missed a super chat.
Yeah, maybe.
Jan 16, 660 calls on Meta. You got a ways to go on that. So look, you got plenty of time for this to work out. Like, here's the thing, like, I don't know what anybody else's tolerance is or whatever it might be, but assuming that you made a bet where ultimately, you can handle that loss and risk, you get past December, whatever the Fed does, so you get a little bit of extension away from that. You'll hopefully settle down after earnings. The valuation's starting to look good. Like, I'm myself in a dollar cost average mode on Meta, so it's hard for me not to say I like it. The problem is hoping that January is going to be the exact right spot. That's where it gets a little bit tricky for me. So I like Meta for some dip buys, but it hasn't shown a sign of a bottom just yet.
Thanks for taking it.
Good news, you get to be on the other end of the December Fed move, which I think is important because I think you want that to have settled out there. So you do have some time. I think you have enough time that that's a very reasonable strike. It's just a matter of how much risk tolerance you have, which I can't really speak to. You always bet when you're up, you bet what you can lose, and I think you should be absolutely fine there. Like I said, I like Meta on a dip buy. Ooh, Nike just showed up.
Okay.
Nike, 1.7 million to sell. Still have about 30 minutes to go to the close and 29 minutes until we have the imbalances. Oh, Nike. Damn it. So Nike was setting something up that I was interested in, which is you do a death cross on the daily chart, right? Like the 50 period crosses underneath the 200, and then the next thing that happens is it breaks out. So it flashes a short setup, like a technical short setup that people like. And then after that, you get a breakout trade because then anybody that just took the short on that setup gets worked, and then you just take the breakout long. But it's not happening because Nike's right back into the lows. So thanks, Nike. You still are not looking very good. Yeah, you got to wait for that one. It's not looking very healthy for Nike, but it's a sell imbalance right now, I believe. Yeah, 1.7 million to sell. Nothing I see today that makes it all that interesting.
All right. I just punched. Okay, I don't know what's going on here with our position. Let me get out of something here so we can have a quick little look to see. All right, TQ's coming back in a little bit. See if I put on a trade. What winds up happening?
Yeah.
Positions, yeah, because I punched into BMNR there, so I wanted to make sure to see if that was working or not. But okay, so here's BMNR just doing its own thing here, just trying to see when it loads. there, right near VWAP. Let's just see what it wants to do. There is a sell imbalance into it, so we'll give it a little bit of a look here on BMNR right now. So that's going to be something to have a look at here into the close. All right, so yeah, Google Tesla. Let's have a, oh, so we got stopped, right? So all of these positions got stopped out right there. So we got stopped there with, out of a very, as I told you, 1% left there and 1% left of Google. So those are all out now. We haven't looked too much at Apple or any of like sort of, this is not a small cap name, but look at Apple. This is why. Nothing going on at all here right now on Apple. So we got to pay attention and wait to see if there is anything that eventually will happen on Apple, but right now nothing. Shopify SMCI is always a good name to trade here. Just looking over at the scanners and see if there's anything actually even going on right now. SMCI up 3%. That might be a good trade, breaking lower underneath the 200 period moving average. SMCI has been in a world of hurt. Yesterday, or maybe it was Friday or yesterday, Dell came out with a pretty ugly like downgrade or forecast of their own, cutting, I guess, some of their forward guide. So yeah, that was a big gap yesterday, 135 down to 123 and change. So not great downside there for Dell and SMCI. So I think they're both worth picking up at some point here. A name that's been getting killed again on, like, I think the problem was with Marvell is we had that story of SoftBank potentially being interested in them, which shot them all the way up to $100 and change, and then it just fell right back in. So this is a name that I'm on right now, Marvell, that's coming back into the 200 period. So again, a name that's been really clocked here as we get some chip worries again. So watch out for Marvell, maybe near 75, which is the 200 period moving average. I don't think there's anything wrong with even picking something up today. Down 6% is MRVL.
If SoftBank liked them at 90 something. Oh, no, no, certainly.
Yeah, it was just a rumor that they had thought about buying them.
That they thought about it. So it's not really. I tend to think of it this way, like it's different because this was a rumor and it was something that they had thought about earlier. But if you ever get like deal rumors happening and then nothing happens in the next couple of days, and then you see the stock back to where it was settling before, it's not the craziest idea in the world to look for that little dip, because sometimes you get the rumor and then a month later, hey, look at that, there's a deal. But that was a little bit different. I see that LFS is starting to move again. So that kind of picked up on, I mean, if you're looking at a volume scanner, you're looking for, if you were looking at a volume scanner, anything that did like relative volume, this just doubled its prior volume candle. Not the volume that it did earlier today, not above VWAP, but certainly starting to look at least a little bit spicy. It's done 31 million shares. It's not bad. I know the midday guys were all over this and some of the early morning traders when this was halting to the upside multiple times. But if you don't hold this volume and break out soon, there is only about 25 minutes left in the session here. So yeah, you'd like to see it get through 7. And the second I pull it up, I can already see like the velocity on the tape decelerating. Like it got exciting for a second here, and now it's like instantly watching paint dry. Like that's so weird. That's the biggest volume candle all afternoon, followed by literally no action here on LFS. Well, that was a bit of a psych out, a little disappointment. You want to see some of these go. It's been a while, I think, since we've had a small cap afternoon runner. Like what's the last one you guys can remember? Like I remember there'd be days where there'd be like, I don't know, like Open Door might be going one day and then some stock we never heard of would be going in the afternoon, and you could jump to that to look for some kind of a trend trade. Not happening in the small caps, unfortunately, which is another thing about the sentiment I think you got to pay attention to. It's just a bit of a different market. No one wants to buy these in the afternoon and hold them overnight anymore, it seems.
No, it's kind of a strange one.
I don't blame them, actually.
Yeah, so we're just still trying to do the same thing here. We got the TQs. If there's anything Open Door, were you just talking about Open Door? No. So bouncing off 7. This was. Oh, you know what I wanted to look at actually was GameStop and Roblox. Those were two trades that were at some pretty key levels. Yeah, because we had looked at this before. I thought this was nearing. Yeah, so we had just broke below this sort of 22 area, and I really feel that this goes all the way back to August of 24. If you're going to go all the way back here, this is May of 24. So, you're back a couple years trying to figure this out. But yeah, just right now, right here, right now, Right here, right now. Looking to see a little bit lower on this stock, and then I think it's almost buy time, like $17, $18, $19 here might be worth it just in case. Like just in case, right? Something spits on them, right? Like you never know if there's gonna be some sort of a, and I know it's getting hit right now. Obviously they put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and Bitcoin being down 40% or 35% or whatever from the highs is gonna hurt a little bit naturally. And yeah, that sucks, have that happen. And I think GameStop just getting hit like that. And I don't know if it's anything that they did specifically or not. They issued some warrants, things like that, but you can see right here that GameStop right now getting beat up. And then Roblox, also Roblox being down near 100 bucks. I think this is also a potential buy area for Roblox. So interested in buying some around 100 bucks. We just bounced off that today again. So another name that I believe the kids are still using and very, very popular, and not really, I mean, other than just paying, you know, getting suckers like me to pay for Robux and things like that so they can buy like cool uniforms or something, or whatever the hell they buy on these games. They still have really yet to monetize. Like, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities here with Roblox. I don't know exactly what they are, but someone might come in and buy this. The daily active users alone might be worth something.
That's what the
Just eyeballs and all that on Roblox.
I was considering putting something in
I think there's something there.
In the education, in my daughter's education account that isn't, because with an education account, like you tend to keep it.
Yeah, dividends.
Yeah, like you tend to keep it, like you can take some risk, but you tend to keep it a little bit boring, because the idea is, you know, but when you're like you're far enough away from needing the money, unless you got like Doogie Howser as like a kid, then, you know, you can have something.
I'm lucky enough to have that.
That's risky stuff.
No. I'm only waiting. Mine's in dividends. TSX dividend.
No, I have nothing risk-free in it.
I have. It's all risk-free for the kids there. So shout out to the kids.
I'm thinking putting like 5%.
Protect
something which is a little bit growthier. And if you don't have some kind of an education account, I think it's an absolute no-brainer, right? Like the cost of secondary education is ridiculous, and we can go into the logistics of why. I could talk about that all day, but the reality is the reality. And if you just put a little bit away early, right, whether it's dividends, if you happen to like that, which I think you can get some good dividend funds out there, put a little bit into a little more risky, but just make sure that it's very, very low risk, because you know you're going to need the money and when you're going to need it eventually. So it's one of those things that's out there. I think they're fantastic, but you know, do it early. We did it the second she was born. Let's get it done.
Yeah. All right, so more talk about that. Of course, I followed Tom Lee and put all my kids' money into BMNR. So
when moon?
On that one, when moon, Ozan, when moon.
Tell us, Tom.
Okay, yeah.
I would love to know where
he's on the yacht with everybody's money right now. So I don't know. I don't think Tom's even looking.
He's a yacht guy.
Who knows? Probably. Rich people seem to buy yachts. I don't know. All right, so Boeing is going the wrong way. It is going down and continues to get hit here as we wait. Like waiting for a China deal seems to be crazy at this point. Boeing just has downside all over it right now. You know, in 1 or 2 days, we can get right back up on all of these names. I mean, Meta, Microsoft, anything is like one good sort of upgrade with reason that people can get behind, and then the stock will run for a couple days. But again, underneath the 200 period, we're gonna have Brian Shannon on tonight. So, you know, he's gonna talk all about, you know, when a stock's in the penalty box, stay away from it. And right now, I mean, there's nothing that you could really say good about Boeing as far as charting is concerned right now. I mean, you've broken lower. We have, like, you know, since this high of 230 or so, we have 2 up days, one right in here, which is November 3rd or something like that. And then we have little 2 kind of like decision days that just ended up going downside. So, you know, not much happening here in the land of Boeing, and straight downside. So this is still going to be in said penalty box, I would say, for now. So just be careful, you know, buying names that are on the way down. And I mean, a good example there is going to be Meta as well, right? I mean, this name is on the way down. I still think this is a great buy, you know, for people that are interested in these kind of names. But for right now, it's just tricky, right? It's a dangerous short or long to be on, because you don't have that really bumped up kind of a day. And if you're going to buy stocks like this, just make sure you do it on days that are actionable days, right? Like, if you bought yesterday when the market kind of tried to rally a little bit, like, you know, you might have got a little bit of FOMO, try to pick your levels and settle on them. And sometimes you'll be surprised at where you get filled. Like, you know, if you might just say, I'm going to bid 580. Well, maybe you got down there today and you might have caught lightning in a bottle and then it just rips back up. And then you're like, okay, I got the bottom. Similarly to like how we got SMR and Oracle at those levels. It's just lucky to kind of be sitting there with bids, or in my situation, offers, and getting filled. So yeah, sometimes you got to watch out for all of that. We're only 6 minutes now away from these imbalances.
I want to get to, I can't find it in our thing to be able to put it up, but failing better, asking, is it time to admit it's okay to be wrong but not to stay wrong and sell PayPal? I would say so. You know how I feel about these. I'm not going to hit the flat bottom. I'm not hitting that flat bottom break key because you're in the trade, so I'm not going to, you know, it is what it is. But this was a very, very distinct support level on PayPal. Right, like there's the buyer, clear as day, 64, 65. It's had all kinds of trouble. It just would not consolidate above the 200 and then break out. Like you'd get above the 200 and fail. Get above the 200 and fail. Like there's no consolidation. Like the first time it dips, it doesn't hold. Like that's all you need to see. Close above the 200, dip, hold it, then break something out. It just can't do it, so it's still trend down. Maybe headed down to those lows. Like the way I look at it is this: if you're not willing to stop out here, then maybe your risk parameters on it was to hold it all the way to the April low. I don't know, but like you have to have it out there somewhere. I was waiting for this to show some kind of a break, but it just can't do it, and that's the unfortunate thing. Like you love stocks to break out. I want Disney to break 125 bucks. I really do. I probably will sit here and never actually swing trade Disney until it happens. So, you know, sometimes that's just how it is. And the reason I talked about Disney and then didn't show this, well, come on. Sometimes I put up a monthly chart and I'm like worried it's not going to work. So if you look at a monthly chart on Disney, this is what I mean about the 125. On a daily, it doesn't really stand out the same way. But on a monthly chart, like look at this zone. Admittedly, this could go just as poorly if this ends up holding and you could break down all this stuff. But when it finally closes a month above 125, let's go partying and take a shot on Disney. It failed again after earnings because that's what Disney's been doing. But patience can be the thing. So I'm being patient with Disney. I don't own any Disney shares anymore. And I may criticize them over Star Wars, but I actually got out of my Disney shares because I was like, I want to own more of Netflix a few years ago. And so what I did, because I sometimes look at like a sector, I sold every ounce of Disney and put it all into Netflix. And now I have some Netflix shares.
Nice.
And now everyone can trade Netflix at 110. Although I'd admit it hasn't been the kind of volume that you might want yet.
Yeah, I'm loving some Netflix.
But the split's been, I think, kind of disappointing, I would say. The time, I feel like if we had been in more of a bullish market, Netflix would be, post-split would have been much better.
Oh yeah, but I'm sorry, that's why I think it's been really good because of the market that it's in, the fact that it's been doing so well since it's split, right? So I think it's actually, considering that we're up 4% here. But again, on the daily, to Neil's point, like if the market was a little different, maybe we would be.
Yeah, let's talk about the daily chart, that's all.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I just think that we should be down. Like there might be a story. Didn't you have a story about Netflix today or something, Adara? There was something about it. This is what it looks like on the daily here since the split. So the split just happened 2 days ago, but you know, we had bad earnings there and straight up. You know, yesterday we talked about 108 maybe being a buy zone. We didn't get into that yesterday. We got to about 109 and change. But yeah, for right now, yeah, good call as we wait to see what's going on with Netflix there as we continue.
Someone put it on their CNBC final trades apparently today.
Okay, but I mean, the move was early. It really started to go, and yeah, there it goes right now at 12:30, straight to the upside. And again, yeah, probably talking about retail's able to get into this a little bit more now. So
it was the Warner Brothers thing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Warner Brothers. Yeah, exactly, content. So as we continue to watch out for some content. But yeah, so far so good here for the day. Let's just give it a little bit of a go here and see what this market wants to do with only 3 minutes left until imbalances. So we are now very, very quietly. And again, you know, I've sort of been promoting this trade the whole afternoon. And there it goes, right there into VWAP. We were waiting there. We take it, man. It is a big trade alert there on the day. So there we go, man. Just live. We take both these trades live with you guys, explain them. And again, with 10 cents like we were saying, my style here with 10 cents worth of a stop. We're down now 200 cents. So nice move here to the upside as we just continue to wait and watch what's going to happen. But I do think it's a very good idea to start to get out of some of these trades as the market gets closer and closer to 350. Where those imbalances are going to come out. So we don't know if the market's going to go upside or downside or what it wants to do here at that time. So just be cautious and be careful of all of your trades right now. We just got another piece out of the TQQs. We have less than 10% left. I'm going to take in another piece at 10s. There it is right now. Less than 10% left on these TQQQs as we head into the imbalances.
Yeah, imbalances in 90 seconds. I have the last quarter on. Maybe not going to get into VWAP, but it did a 1 point move. So we go from the top into prior resistance, which is about a point. I feel like that's pretty much what the market did as well. So either we get 34.3 on this next fill, or I trail back into here. Because with imbalances coming in, heck, we could end up with buy imbalances and you get that last dish spike as people take some profits in here. Nike's actually still saying 1.7 million to the sell side. BMNR is still saying 1 point. Wasn't it a sell before?
The BMR was a sell, yeah.
Yeah, okay, now it's a buy of 1.4. That's all these games on these Amex talks. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, they're flipping it around and then maybe it comes out a big one. So with 1 minute to go in here, I just have a trailing stop. Nothing really standing out here because I'll observe SOXL and BMNR until we figure out what to do with these things. And SMR was an early look 1 million to sell. That's worth having up potentially. SMR is not many things have moved around as much as SMR. So I would imagine if that has a big comes out over 1 million shares. Yeah, it's 5% of the day's volume. Maybe that's a little something. Just want something to watch that might be relatively simple if it comes out a big imbalance. Nothing expected today. There's no big index actions or anything. So, I wouldn't be too worried about that. Although we are approaching the end of the year. So you'll get MSCI at the end of this month, and the end of the year will be a massive one for rebalancing. No big names. I think we're not expecting any big names at the end of the year.
No, I don't think so. Well, we'll have to just double check. There's always those reports that come out and you get to figure out which ones are being rebalanced and vice versa.
Well, Palantir's weighting has to be changing.
Right, so it's 350 right now. The market's trying to do something again. So, yeah, nice upside move.
It just spiked.
Yeah, nice upside move. Actually, I'm not even in. So we were just covering on the TQs. So a good couple coverages there as we start to spike up. Like I said, less than 10%, and we covered some. So way less now than 10%. But yeah, so far so good here. Into the close. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. But I don't even have the imbalances up, so I just kept on talking. Yeah, okay, so here are the imbalances right here.
Open.
You guys can have a quick little look at them, and then we can see Kenview, open door right there with a nice little bid. You can see that's giving a sharp rise to the upside. Netflix, 2 million to buy. That's big for Netflix, obviously,
that's
here.
Huge.
As that continues to make moves higher here. So Netflix, nice move higher into that close, up 4%. So great day there for Netflix. We just talked about it. Rigetti, man, nice play there. Lyft. There's BMNR. Little bit of a bid there going on. IQ, Netflix, we just talked about that. Kenview, always beat up, right? But, maybe there's a bottom here in Kenview. I think that was $14, and then a nice spike up over the last couple of weeks. So that might be in play there, Kenview. So keep paying attention to that, and we'll get it figured out about Kenview. There's Walmart.
That open door is not bad.
Yeah, open door is a good one, man. Open door off 7, good. But again, 108 million, only 3 million shares. I think this is an interesting one. BBAI, great stock today, up 10%. Continues to push a little bit higher as well right there. We'll get out of the queues, and then we'll get ready for our recap show.
Absolutely, and just everyone out there, you've seen it. We had Mitch on for a long time. Trading has always meant risking your own money, or maybe you don't have enough to start off with. Well, you know what? That fear of losing kept a lot of people on the sidelines, and it's changing now. Trade the Pool is transforming how traders are able to access the markets. With the limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of those profits. No fear or barriers, just opportunity. This is a revolution of limited risk trading powered by Trade the Pool. You can visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. Thank Mitch for coming on this morning. I know he was feeling pretty bearish about those markets, and we did dump off to the open. Just keep in mind with those imbalances, for anyone that's tuning in for the first time, at about 355, a lot of the bigger numbers will tend to pair off. more so on New York names than on NASDAQ, but it does happen on NASDAQ names as well. So that 2 million you see on Netflix or that 2.8 million you see on Open Door, very likely that starts to pair off, and any upward momentum could shift at 355. Not will, but could. So just be, if you happen to be trading Open Door and you're long, it's like, yeah, it's going on in imbalance. If you don't have access to this, just know at 355, and then again at about 358 for NASDAQ stocks, you want to be paying attention to any kind of movement. Maybe you put a trailing stop in. There was just some discussion about stops and trailing stops. When trading with imbalances, trailing stops are a really good idea, I would say. Because if you're trading this imbalance on, say, Open Door, or I already have Netflix up, it's just easier for me to do this. Netflix is breaking the high, well, you want to make sure you capture that move. It's like, well, if it pulls back 25 cents, I get out. Like that's what a trailing stop might be, or if it pulls back X percentage. Instead of just saying, oh, my stop is at the low, you don't want to give that profit up if you're in a bit of a gimmicky style of trade, because you have a limited amount of time for it to work, so it's already pairing off there on Netflix. Kenvue, that's actually a pretty big buy on Kenvue. 3.5 million shares, 10% of the volume. Not even moving. Yeah, that's seemingly a problem. Stock can't even move 2 cents on a 3 million imbalance. Oh, Kenvue sucks. Well, we know what's going on there. Let's just say they're under some pressure, right? Everyone knows that about Kenvue.
Okay, just looking here at chat if there's anything in there. Yeah, what's up to Erie Pages? Lamb meat, yeah, good. Euros.
Yep.
Coming through there. Good. All right. So, okay. So here comes the market back in as it's getting close to 355. Some of these imbalances will flip over. So I was very, very patient. We get out another piece right here at 99. And again, a trade you all saw live, now $2 and looking at VWAP right now with only 30 seconds until we get a possible switch up. Right here in the stock, and we get to go the other way. So we'll just wait to see what winds up happening right now. I think a little bit of a downside play potentially in these Qs. So let me put a bid here at 90s. Okay, we just got that fill at 93.
NVIDIA just grew huge.
Yeah, NVIDIA's a bigger sell right there. So we can have a quick look to see. Yeah, so the pressure's coming on this at near the end of the day. So obviously we've taken big time advantage of that now. Let's get out some at 86. Oh boy, this winner is getting bigger and better here as the day goes. Money, 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 money. All right, man. So we talked about this, right? We both talked about this exact trade actually, and there it comes now into the downside. You know, the imbalances could go either way. We had less than 10% heading into this imbalance. So the fact that it's going to the downside is a nice money piece, but we're going to punch out right now. We took advantage of that. A lot of liquidity coming in right now. We just get out at O's. So there it goes, man. 101s down to 99s, and good. Like, good bunch of outs there, good bunch of outs here. Most of the outs in and around this area for the dollar, but again, nice move down into the downside here as we continue to watch out. BMNR, I don't know, still a buy, 800,000. We'll wind up seeing where that winds up printing, and I'm probably be on the big list tomorrow.
I don't know. I don't feel like
I really didn't do a whole bunch.
I keep watching this thing to figure out how anyone's making any big money on BMNR at the end of the day, but it's not doing enough of. That's not enough of a move for it to do anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know. Maybe there's some one-offs there. Soxel, forget about that. That doesn't really matter. But Open Door, that did sustain it. It sustained the move, but even pairing off a little bit, it paired off a quarter of the imbalance. That's what Open Door did. Like, it dropped more than the entire move. Like, you're gonna be kidding me. It dropped like 25 cents. It's a $7 stock. It moved up 10 to 15 cents on the imbalance. When it paired off even a little bit, it dropped double that. So just be really, really careful. Only about 2 minutes. Well, sorry, a minute and a half, and at 58, the NASDAQ ones tend to show a little bit more action as well in terms of pairing those off, so it is worth watching those as well. BMNR kind of scammy. Look, when we're talking about BMNR, we're just talking about like at the end of day trend. There's been some very solid reversal trades in this stock, like near the close. Like yesterday was an example. Like yesterday, see what it did? Like it was going down all day. Then you had right at about 355 or 350, you had this spike up. It's only about 70 pennies, but look at how tight that reversal is and then buy into the close. Maybe it's imbalance related, maybe it's not. But if it does something like that here, like look, it's trading in a tight range. If it breaks out, you just want to be ready for it in case it happens. I've been watching most days, I forgot to yesterday, but most days I've been watching BMNR to see if you can't capitalize something like that. You know, those little gimmicky trades can be good. You just have to make sure that they're actually there. You can't force them. We say this all the time. Like if BMNR is doing something at the close, you trade it. If it's not, then don't. Don't just assume that it's going to do something.
Look, you guys want a secret? All the real money made on prop firms are with gimmick stuff. It's not just this buying and selling numerous times
it's
over and over again. It's all on this gimmicky stuff. So
have an edge.
Yeah, and it's gimmicky stuff. It is what it is. I mean, you could see here, and you can ask us every day, green or red or whatever, but most of the big money made is on these imbalances.
On IPOs, imbalances, flash crashes, like if you can take advantage of a flash crash, like the example I will give on Liberation Day, so this was like maybe the most unsexy trade you can think of. On Liberation Day, it was, what was the name of the deal? I'm trying to remember exactly who it was. I think it was Walgreens Boots Alliance, right? So Walgreens got bought out. So they're getting bought out for like $11.65 cash plus a CVR. So you know what it's worth. The deal is going to close. It was trading at like a 12 to 15% discount that morning. So you could buy the low at like $10. The second thing, when everything was tanking, it's like you could try to buy the market if you wanted to. I turned around and said, I got to build a position in WBA. Westermeyer knows this. And I'm like, just take that thing. Why? Because it has a stable range. And what did it do? Just mean reverted right back to the top. If the market did, it was going to go too. If the market didn't, it was probably still going to go up as well. So it's those kind of things which can be really good. Open Door can be an example of that as well. Like you could, if you took it on the buy imbalance, boom. If you took the flip trade, where like the imbalance comes off, you're in here, and maybe you go down there. I don't like doing that trade because the way I see it, it's still a buy imbalance, so I really dislike that trade. But if you happen to be really quick about it, you can just take a quick 7 or 8 cents, punch in, punch out, and believe me, that can actually make some cash. About 40 seconds to go in here. There's not a heck of a lot in terms of earnings. There's a couple of smaller names out there like Lazy Boy if you're into it after the bell, but we do have a special treat because Sean is going to be joined by a new host who I think you guys should be excited for. So switching some things up a little bit. We're going to be trying out a few new people in the afternoon with one of myself or Sean. Today it is going to be Sean and special guest host, but we got the closing bell brought to you by AIML Health. You can check them out on the CSC, AIML. Shout out to them and thank them for sponsoring the closing bell. And now, the market is closed. And I just thought of something. I was asked this in the middle of the day, and I meant to ask either Brennan to see what our thoughts are, because I was asked, are we going to still have a closing, like a physical bell somewhere on the floor? We're not going to do. So we're not going to. So someone asked me that earlier. The plan is not to have a physical bell anymore. It's about the logistics of like, where do you put it? We had a really good spot for it before, but we'll always have our little virtual bell. And notice behind me, this is what it's all about. Like, this is pretty pimp, everybody. It's not just a screen wall, but the desk. We've got the visualizer up there. You know everyone was interested in OLMA and Netflix just by looking right behind me. Wait till we actually have, the morning on that desk, and of course the aftermarket show and everything in between, and that's where Adara is going to be as well. So, we're excited for it. That's why we're working pretty hard. I mean, I say we, like we're on air, like Sean and myself, like we're on air while I haven't seen Mark, Randy sit down most of the day as they're getting some of this stuff ready. So thank you guys so much for being patient with it, all the work. I know you hear it sometimes. NVIDIA, by the way, is actually still falling. So yeah, there was a sell imbalance on NVIDIA, and it closed at the lows, and it's still falling. So a lot of pressure on NVIDIA. But I believe we are, do I get a thumbs up? Are we good to go? If we are good to go, we have a special treat. We got the market recap. We've got Sean and special new host. Be kind, everybody, and good luck.
Neil, how's it going? Ooh, this looks actually really blue. Hey, what's up, Neil? This looks actually really blue out on here. All right, my good friend.
John.
I don't really know you that well, so he's not a good friend. But this here is Adams. We want to all thank Adam for coming in, and your tryout is now.
I'm ready.
So I'm going to ask you a very, very quick question. What is your history with trading, and what got you into the game, and what are you doing right now?
Sure. I studied finance in school, so that was, I guess, my initial introduction to trading.
What school?
I went to TMU. Well,
Okay,
now
nice.
called
Yeah.
TMU.
Yeah.
They're renaming Dundas Station to TMU, so
Oh, are they?
it fits in a little bit more.
Okay.
That's where I kind of got into trading. I took a trading class, and someone from Trader TV over here recruited me and did
good.
a speech in class, and it caught my interest. So 2 years ago, I was on the trading floor, and was there for about half a year, placing trades. I made one appearance on this show.
Good.
It was a really cool time, and that love for the market never left me. So here I am again now.
Good. Well, we're glad to have you. So Adam's going to help us do the recap. So we have Brian Shannon coming from Alpha Trends. He's a really cool guy. Can't wait to introduce you to him as well. But let's not bury the lead too much here today. It was a pretty decent day, right? We did have the NASDAQ and the triple Qs going out. Not too bad after all. What looked like a pretty bad day to start with. Here's the triple Qs if and when it ever loads on my screen. There it is, down 1.38% on. But right now, we are actually getting hit to the downside. I don't know if there was a story that just hit here or what, but there's a nice move downside right there for the triple Qs getting hit here after hours. The only story that I have is Plug Power just had a there it is right here. Plug Power just planned a convertible notes offering. So come on, chart. Plug, look at Plug Power right now, Adam. That's getting crushed down to 182 and change as they start to get hit down to the downside there. There goes Plug Power. I wanted to see if the NASDAQ was also helping push down Bitcoin right now as we're getting some, not really. It just looks like the Qs right here starting to go for a little bit of a dive down into 595.50. We ended the day only down about 1%, but giving a little bit back right now. Some of the top stories today obviously was the Bitcoin talk there. Some macro fears about Bitcoin and BTC right here, 92.8. This is a daily chart for Bitcoin, and we see a nice little downside pressure move right here for BTC, falling off 105 down into 92. You a holder of Bitcoin or anything like that?
I am, and I'm hoping that this is at least a local bottom because you got that nice candle. We're up near the highs of the day. But it is kind of below that long-term downtrend line. So I'm just hoping that this can be at least a local bottom, maybe get some basing, let those moving averages flatten out maybe, and break back above them and see where we can go from there. Yeah.
Are you a big crypto guy or not really?
I like crypto. I think.
Are there any names other than Bitcoin you might be thinking about?
Well, you mentioned Brian Shannon, and he recently mentioned Zcash.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
ZEC, and that's been one of the strongest cryptos that there is.
Okay,
really,
good.
maybe the only strong crypto. So I've been taking a look at that, and
all right.
that can hold
I wonder
up.
what Zcash does. Why has that been so strong? We'll ask Brian, or if you know.
Cannot tell you that.
Okay, cannot tell us that. And this is part of the reason why the market goes down. I know we've talked about this a lot today, and that is the Fed, right? So right here, as of December 10th, we are looking right now at a 50-50 rate cut situation right now. So this, Adam, used to be almost 100% that we were going to cut. Now we're down to 50%. So as the market goes, so do the rates. So we'll have to wait to see if this can sort of level out. I'd like to see the rate cut get a little bit higher so that we can finally find some stability here behind the trade. And today's stock heat map, man, brought to you by a lot of red names. And today we had some downside push all over the place. And it really did start early with NVIDIA not really capturing much movement. Still down 3%, looking to get lower. As of course, we had Peter Thiel exit. We had SoftBank exit their positions as well on NVIDIA, down 2.81%. And you know this, as we all do, NVIDIA coming into earnings should be really interesting coming tomorrow night. So join us tomorrow night as we will have a much different show, as we will be much focused on earnings plays. Tonight, there's not too much, but here's NVIDIA pulling back into 180 again. Man, it's been a little bit of a wild ride here for NVDA. SoftBank exiting, Peter Thiel exiting, and then again, a lot of concern here. Will the Vera Rubin be ready to ship? Is that ready to go? We're going to wait to hear that tomorrow. We also have, of course, SoftBank. We talked about them. And expectations right here, $1.23 EPS on $54.8 billion worth of revenue. Adam, that is quite the number there for sure. Any levels that interest you on NVIDIA? I'm not sure if you're looking at a chart here, but I think we're near some lows at 180.
We got the chart here. It's kind of hovering under the 50 MA. Generally, I don't like to take a position when we're under the 50 MA, but with earnings tomorrow, you know, you could get that pop where it's up 8% and now you're approaching new highs. So we're right in support right now. It's just a lot of sideways action. It's not very clean. I really want to see it get above the 50 MA and then kind of lead the 10-day moving average or 12-day moving average or 9-day moving average, really whatever you like to use. But I want to see it get trending again, and hopefully earnings can be the catalyst for that.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you there. Let's not catch this falling knife. Let's wait till the trend turns around a little bit. So we did have a fail. Let's go here. It's a little bit of a fail stock over here. Who's over there? Is that Fabian? Look, it's Home Depot today. Home Depot struggled. You know, the retail, we know they're a little weak. We're not sure what the consumer has behind it, but what we do know about that is unemployment rate now is very much in question. We don't necessarily worry about the health of the housing market, but with Donald Trump coming out and talking about 50-year mortgages, we've seen some movement on Open Door. And honestly, this destruction of Home Depot stock, not really sure what's going on. They missed 374 versus 384. They cut their full year profit outlook down 5%, so that's not good. High mortgage rates have frozen the housing market, but freezing the housing market keeps people in their houses and people obviously looking to maybe put some renovations on. I thought Home Depot would have been a bit better. But the one thing, Adam, that we all know is when you purchase a new home, you often make changes. Okay. You know, either the family room doesn't look good or the wife wants something else in the bedroom or a different bathroom or something like that. So that creates a lot of renovations. And with the housing market being a little frozen right here, Home Depot obviously getting hit. And I don't think we expected that. This is a bellwether stock that just looks nasty, man. 420 all the way down to 337. When was the last time you were in Home Depot?
I can't tell you. I don't own a home, nor do I have a wife.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is that Home Depot's only missed earnings a few times in the last 10 years,
right.
like 5 times or something like that. 3 of those times are the most recent 3 quarters. So I don't know if there's some sort of trend turning or something, maybe a broader economical issue, but that is not a positive sign. What is a positive sign, however, if you pull up Home Depot's long-term chart, they are in a huge long-term uptrend going back to 2015 or so. So if you look at my chart right there, you can see that just despite this little blip in COVID, which it recovered pretty quickly, there's a strong trend in formation, and it's approaching that uptrend line. And if it can hold there, you know, maybe things can reverse back higher.
I see some people in the chat there. People are boycotting Home Depot. I don't know if there's something political going on with Home Depot, but we've seen. Do you know anything about that?
I don't.
No, okay. We've seen, I do want to remind everybody, and I know we're doing something different here, but we do want to bring this recap show brought to you by Global X and Beta Pro. So shout out to them. Their 3X product has been super hot. There it is right there. Make sure you do scan. Well, you can also scan that QR code, but scan the one for Beta Pro, and it comes up in link in description. Thank you again for continuously sponsoring the show. Yeah, everybody in the chat having a great time, so that's great. Over 4,000 watching right now. You nervous?
Right on. Not at all.
Good,
I wasn't.
perfect.
Maybe now I am, but I wasn't before.
You weren't before, but now you are because I'm here. Okay, I get it. All right. You know what? Is there any other names you want to talk about? Because I was going to go over to Google that had a nice little day today. We can actually do that. Let's do that real quick. So Google today, just again, like what a great earnings report. Google actually shot up, and we thought that Google was going to be sort of the proxy for what we were looking for with the spend, with the data center spend, the build outs. They have their TPU, their tensor processing units, of course, involved in their Pixel. And then everything about YouTube. I mean, you must be all over YouTube.
I am on YouTube quite a bit. I know that Google, like 8 months ago, there was a lot of talk around Google, you know, maybe not being a leader. Why are they behind in the AI trade? You know, they should be the leader. They have Google, they have the search. Why are they doing so poorly? And over the last, 3 months, they've kind of taken over as this leader of the trade now. They've kind of replaced Microsoft in that. NVIDIA's gone up, but it's gone a little bit sideways, whereas Google, you've seen this sort of parabolic trend. And with Berkshire taking a stake now, you know, that adds more confidence in this investment. So, yeah, no doubt they're definitely one of the strongest stocks that you can find right now.
Yeah, great call there, and I don't want to forget about that too, because yeah, Berkshire with initiating their new position on Google, great call there. Loop Capital with the upgrade today, and then I don't know if you heard the news today. I'm probably busy, but Gemini 3.0 coming out hopefully on the weekend. Okay. So that's their new AI model, language model there, large language model. So that gave them a little bit of a boost today, but still, man, downside playing here for Google as they just made the move down today. We're able to catch a little bit of a long, but then again, closing near their lows is Google. All right, people asking in the chat if there's any earnings. Look, man, here's the Benzinga Pro platform, and I'm kind of just scanning right now. You can show my screen, Fabian, if you want. SBLK, Star Bulk Carriers, misses. I'm not really seeing anything, man. GBDC here, GoLub Capital, nothing going on there either. VRAEX. Going here, Varex Imaging Corporation, slightly beating, but nothing really of any kind of volume coming through. So we will by far talk about anything you do want in the chat. So drop some names in there and definitely let us know. Look, SoFi, yeah, so good call there, Bob the dog. You ever been to Loblaws before?
I have.
So do you know what the CE's name is? Bob.
Okay.
So Bob Loblaw.
Okay, is that why it's named that?
No, that's just a joke,
just,
yeah,
okay.
because then yeah, that didn't go over that well. Yeah, it's like a little kid. But there's Plug Power, of course. This could be a trade tomorrow. Plug Power down 20% there on a offering. So this is the one thing that's definitely hitting the stock right now. Plug Power down on an offering. I mean, convertible notes, they're going to have to try to raise, well, they are raising money right now. And Plug Power nicely down to the downside. Yeah, now some people in the chat are getting that reference. Yeah, we can talk SBLK. I'll call that up. I mean, this is an aftermarket recap show. So let's just quickly look at SBLK right now. There it is, down 4% on, again, a miss. So not too bad here on to the downside for SBLK. So unfortunately, a little bit of a miss there. All right, we're getting ready to have Brian Shannon on, and when he does come on, we're gonna ask him for a couple different plays that he likes and what's some names that he's been thinking about. Adam, a big position of mine has been Palantir, and we've been getting in and out of this thing for a while, buying dips when dips are there, but also making sure that we capture some profit. But the problem is now, Palantir's making some new lows and broke through this 170, 175. A big concern is valuation.
Right.
As we know, market PEs right now, pretty high on the S&P 500, 25, 26 or so, depending on where you get that number from. Palantir's still astronomical, man, in the hundreds. You familiar with Palantir at all? And what are your thoughts maybe on this high flyer?
I am familiar with it. What I can tell you is it's in the right sector.
Right.
It has the right theme. It has a smart CEO that people trust and people have confidence in. And he's been very outspoken about his positions. Although right now, yeah, it is below the 50-day moving average. And it's setting up to look like it could be a short in the coming days if we're looking at it objectively.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, yeah, I mean, if it can reclaim that 50-day, if it can, get some more buying pressure back, and NVIDIA doesn't blow up on earnings tomorrow night, then yeah, this could gain some steam again. But right now, it's not looking too hot.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree, and I wish it was looking hot because we're still long that name. Today we had some pressure from China, right? I mean, Japan and South Korea were really hit over last night, overnight, right? So they started the day lower. We did get a little bit of a rally in FXI as we continue to make a move higher in this space, but you can see here, big cap China names continue to get hit. The name that I most recently bought was Alibaba. I like their Quen model. I like the fact that they're working on their own chips, and considering this move down, buy a little bit at the 50 period. That's what we've been doing. This is my most recent buy. Let's see if Alibaba gets into the 200, which I believe is like around 130, 140, somewhere down into here. Yeah, there it is right there. Wow, good guess. 135, not bad, right, Adam? Right there, so a nice move down into that for Alibaba. So we'll get a figure on that very, very soon. I like some of these Chinese names. We did have Pinduoduo moving around as well over the last little while. Names like Luckin Coffee. We had a great interview today, LKNCY over there on the Pink Sheets OTC markets. Luckin Coffee, apparently Luckin Coffee now in New York. So a shout out to that, and shout out to Jeff reminding us that, hey, there's more coffee than just Starbucks. I feel like there's coffee, and Ramin's doing something over here, so as soon as she's done, we'll talk to Adam in a minute. But I feel like there's so many different coffee joints around that I'm not buying Starbucks in the long-term portfolio, but Luckin Coffee interests me because...
Thanks.
Yeah, lots of bangs there. This interests me because we're at some of these levels right here, right now, 36, 36.50 or so for Luckin Coffee. Nice move to the downside again if you're looking for some exposure. This name actually went off the OTC, off the NASDAQ, and over here into the OTC markets. Luckin Coffee, definitely something to look at there. You a coffee guy or a tea guy?
I am most definitely a coffee guy. Tea guy when I am sick, though. With some honey, that does the trick for me.
Oh man, I like that honey with a little bit of the lemon, honey.
Absolutely.
Oh boy. Okay, please hire this guy. He's a coffee guy, so it's all good. So there, congratulations, you passed the test.
Thank you.
Right there. But you ever own any Starbucks or anything like that? Anything? Okay, here's a question for you. Give me a stock that you like in the retail side of things right now. We have Costco on the downside. You can also pick a restaurant if you want. McDonald's has been pretty good. Is there any sort of names that are on your mind these days?
I think I like restaurant brands.
Oh,
QSR.
QSR, perfect.
Only because I go to Tim Hortons every
There we
single
go.
day. I like Popeyes instead of KFC.
Perfect.
I'm not a big fan of Burger King, but for the aforementioned reasons, I like Tim Hortons. It's kind of, it's a slow mover. It doesn't really do much. You get a bit of a dividend, so you can have some income in your portfolio.
Perfect.
But yeah, that's one that I look at. Although I'm not really a big retail or restaurant kind of guy in general, but if I had to pick one, I like QSR.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I do think that there's thematic investing that you can do, right? I mean, I used to, like, as soon as basically I found out that my wife was spending $150 on pants, I bought Lulu,
Right.
As soon as I realized that these Frappuccinos are $6 or $7, you buy some Starbucks, right? But that was more back in the day. I think right now, you got to stick with what you're doing as well. Try to figure out, are you definitely invested in the right names in the right space, right? And for right now, if retail's a little weak and we worry about the consumer, I'm a little worried about all retail right now. Costco's at a nice little level on the downside, maybe looking to pick something up over there as well. But I like the diversification of QSR. So Restaurant Brands International, a great name there. Get some Popeyes, get some Burger King, and get some, not KFC, Tim Hortons.
Some coffee.
Of course, and get some coffee. I think the Popeyes, the sandwich is pretty good. The pieces of chicken, definitely good over there. A little Louisiana style.
And the biscuits.
You like stuff spicy?
I do.
Okay, so you and Adara would not get along too well. If we are ready for Brian Shannon, it's called Trader Talk, Adam, and let's bring him on. Brian, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing good, Sean. Nice to see the new host there, Adam.
Yes, Adam. Nice. Say hi, Adam.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
There he is. Yeah, Adam's gonna ask you a question in a couple minutes, but thank you, Brian. As we look to expand, right? I mean, we are looking for more hosts to host this show. So pretty soon you might not have me interviewing, but Adara is still here as well. So, Brian. Come on, like, why didn't you warn us like 3 or 4 weeks ago that this whole market was gonna crash? I say that just tongue in cheek, because is this really a crash? I mean, I think the market is always in correction mode. It's always looking to correct. We're maybe not always in correction mode, but we've just had such a big run from those April lows. There had to be some steam coming out of this market, right?
Well, the warning signs were really those high ATR stocks that still haven't recovered. And that was really kind of the first warning sign. Now we're getting news, as you've covered, about all the big sellers in NVIDIA. And some of the leaders are starting to crack. I mean, Meta still hasn't bounced yet. Amazon's given everything back from its earnings. So we're just seeing a broader, sell-off, I guess. And we're still in a bull market, though. So I think this just eventually paves the way for the next rally, and we're just not there yet. So we've got to be a little bit patient, keep the powder dry, and don't be buying stocks below declining 5-day moving average.
Boom, that's the answer I was looking for, because I said we're gonna have Brian on, and this guy talks about the penalty box, and until we're out of it, we can't buy anything. But I did tell everybody in the chat a very popular retail name. You already mentioned it, it's Meta. So I was actually going to ask you if you could sort of do some chart work on this for us, because I have it up right here, and Meta's just broke through 600 bucks, and I don't know, we bounced nicely off of it today. We're 585 bottom, we got to 600, we kind of bounced down here and starting to go even lower into the close, and now after hours lower as well here on Meta. And I just said, let's not try to change the game plan here. We have 2 or 3 up days out of the last 20 here in Meta on the daily chart, and you just nailed it with the declining 5-day. But I'm gonna throw the charting over to you, and maybe, is there a spot where if we're looking to dip our toes into Meta, can you find me a spot here, or is it just not worth it until we get confirmation?
Sure, Sean. On the left, of course, is the daily time frame, and I was looking at levels of interest that when this stock gapped lower, we blew through that green anchor from the April low. That wasn't good. So the average person who bought after the April low is down significantly now. We also cut below the 200-day moving average and that thick blue year-to-date anchor. So on average, the average price it's traded at this year is 660, and here we're down 10% lower than that. So the average participant in Meta is down 10%. Let's take a look at the weekly chart and see, I've got this trend line here that might end up being something. We've broken below that anchor, as we know, so we can go back to the beginning of this. And that, where that trend line kind of begins right here and touches there, lines up with that anchor. So maybe 550. It seems like it's still far away because we've seen such a large sell-off so far. But again, we've had this declining the slope of this 5-day moving average has been declining this entire time. So there's been no reason to think that a bounce could materialize and hold on. If we start to see some sideways action and rebuild a little bit of a base, then maybe we get a pop. Then that might create a lower high before a move to that 550. But I think if you're looking to add this longer term, I'd be looking at that 550 level as the more important level.
Okay, yeah, let's wait till we get a little bit down there. And of course, Meta dealing with the cash issue. I mean, so much spend, and we're just waiting to see that turn around. And, the data center spend has been real, because if you look at Oracle and some of the moves that they've been having, that's a huge correction on ORCL. I was perusing through your stock twits and on X there. Go make sure you follow this man, Brian Shannon, at Alpha Trends. Immediately go do it. Well, maybe after the segment do it, or now. SPY, you're talking about the anchored VWAP off of those April lows, right? So as we continue to make moves down here, the August lows, the anchored VWAP off those August lows of SPY. I don't have anchored VWAP on here, but can you go over what you're thinking here on the SPY? Because I'm looking to actually buy some index right now instead of taking single stock risk. For those of us that are dollar cost averaging into big ETFs, into the Qs, into the SPY, or even into an XBI, the biotechs, or XRT, the retails. What are we looking at for SPY? And potentially it will work for other ETFs. So can we go over some anchor VWAP stuff on the SPY that you're looking at?
Yeah, of course. So on the left, of course, again, is that daily time frame. We've got that red dash 20-day moving average, which is now declining. And the 50-day moving average is going to start to decline here sometime in the next 2 weeks, unless this market can get its act together a little bit. What I'm really thinking, Sean, is that this anchor off that August low has been important for bounces. And now we're on it once again. Today, though, we didn't really have anything convincing happen. We came up to the week-to-date anchor and then sold off over here on the right. We're still below a declining 5-day moving average. So it makes me think that what we really need to turn this around in the short term is a flush below this low right here. I think there's probably a lot of stops below there. A lot of people thinking, well, if it breaks that, it makes a lower low below the 50-day moving average, I'm going to sell short. I think that sets them up to get burned, and that's where we can start to look for a more vigorous rally that could be tradable even up towards that 5-day moving average to start out. So I like it tomorrow if we can undercut this. I like it in that I want to start looking at the shorter term time frame. If we can get above the daily VWAP and hold above it, that paves the way for a day trade long that maybe we can transition into a 2 or 3 day trade.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Yeah, hey, Adam.
I wanted to say, nice to meet you. Your book, Technical Analysis Using Multiple Timeframes, was the second book that I ever read when it comes to trading. The first was How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill. So I am definitely a fan of your work. I wanted to ask you about Bitcoin. It's kind of got distributed. It's come down from 125K. There's a lot of fear in the market regarding it, but it's also kind of near that long-term, or I guess intermediate-term uptrend line, and kind of sitting on some support. So I was just wondering what your thoughts were on the current state of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I've lost my little button here that allows me to stop sharing and then share another screen. I've been trading some bounces in Bitcoin on the way down, and we're currently hanging around the anchor from the the summer of 2024 low. If I could, I guess I don't see that there. So, anyways,
I could have the chart up.
Maybe we could look at IBIT instead. And, IBIT is a little bit different because, here's that anchor I was talking about. So IBIT is a little bit well below it. This is where IBIT came public. So that might end up being some ETF support down in here. But the bottom line is I've tried a couple of bounces and had some successful trades. I got out the other day, basically break even on my most recent one. It's still kind of the same as what I was just saying for the S&P. There just doesn't seem to be any vigorous buyers in here yet. And typically in Bitcoin, that's what we're used to seeing, is some real sharp tradable bounces. So maybe a little bit bleeding lower, and then we can start to bounce, but I'm just not convinced yet, Adam.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely hasn't been that buyer support that's stepped in yet. I saw on your Twitter feed you posted about Zcash and how we need some influencer or something to start a ETF for that. It's certainly been strong. Do you think that that's also kind of in the topping phase? Is there any like warning signs there? Or do you think because of its run, it just doesn't have that much more to go? Or do you have any general thoughts on that?
I was kind of teasing about that one, and I figured out how to share my screen here again. So just to go back to Bitcoin real quick, that red anchor is the one that I was talking about that we're trying to find buyers on right now. Oops, and I'm just going to switch that to a weekly time frame, and sorry about the scaling. The other anchor of interest below is this one that somebody pointed out to me on X the other day, which is from the last halvening. And that would bring it down ideally to 88,000. That, I think, would be the final flush in there. But back to ZEC, I hadn't really heard of this one before, so I was kind of looking at it going, what the heck is this? And it seems when we have maximum, large rally, that's when I was teasing that maybe some influencer, and I call him an influencer like Tom Lee with BMNR, is going to come out and start buying this thing. But I don't know anything about this one other than it's in a major uptrend, and I completely missed it. So maybe you have some insight, because I don't know what they do.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, I don't know, Adam, any insight there on Zcash? Because you nailed it right there with BMNR and all that kind of stuff. Like, whenever there's shady stuff like this going on that no one can really explain, I'm a short there on Zcash, Brian, and I know maybe it's a little too early to figure all that out. You don't want to step in front when we clearly don't understand what's going on. I want to ask you something that's really been bad for the market, I feel, over the last 6 or 8 months. What's up with all these IPOs? I mean, have you seen StubHub? I mean, I have StubHub, STUB. Brian, if you want to see that one. I mean, they rip me off every time I'm trying to buy tickets, so good for them. But wow, these guys came out at $25 actually, and their best day was the birthday. That's something that we like to say around here. And then since then, man, it's been wearing no clothes all the way down to the downside. Look at this epic break when it didn't hold. Now it's down to $12 and absolutely cracking. We have our good friend Circle. Circle gets the square here, and this is also, wow, that was a great company, right? No, fast forward 3 months, we're all the way back down to IPO pricing again. There's names like Klarna, they came through yesterday as well. KLAR, Klarna, they actually were okay based on not going down that, well, my bad, down 10% today, Brian. Like, I can't even be wrong about one of these names. What is your thought here on IPOs? Like, do they have to have a year of trading? You really helped us out with that new scale SMR when it was kind of riding and eventually it broke to the high side. Can you give us any tips here for IPOs? Because there's a lot of traders that believed in some of these companies, especially Circle. That's one that a lot of traders are looking for. What can we do? Is there an indicator that will help us, and I'm sure it's an anchor somewhere, that will help us identify and sort of maneuver our way through some of these IPOs?
Sure. I mean, Sean, there's times I'll trade the IPO the very first day, using an anchor from that very first trade. And they can be great for, several weeks, several months, in fact, with Circle. And the anchor from the IPO, that green line right there, had been holding as support. And then once it definitively broke it here in late July and undercut, basically 180, it's been lights out since then. Now, it's approaching where the stock opened for trading after the IPO at at 76 right here, but the IPO actually priced at 31. So a lot of these stocks go down and actually end up testing the IPO price, and many of them, like you've seen, like StubHub and CHA. There's a bunch of them. They are undercutting those lows, and sometimes, in some cases, 50% below them. So it's below the anchor from the IPO. You can day trade this thing and maybe catch a swing trade here and there, but don't buy the dips in these things, especially while, again, they're below a declining 5-day moving average. You're just asking for trouble. Once in a while, you'll get lucky and catch a little bounce like this, but they get sold into below declining 20, 50-day moving average, and there's that anchor from the IPO. It's, you know, the average price the public has traded this stock at is $162, which is $131 higher than where the stock actually priced its IPO and where the insiders sold to people.
Wild.
Thanks, Brian. All I could think about was just overhead supply once you said that dollar amount. Is there anything that you're currently looking at, maybe to the long side or to the short side, amid this current kind of mini correction?
Yeah, I've got a couple of shorts that are kind of, you know, down to the last third of those. I'm looking at COGT. This is a biotech. It's holding really well so far. You know, ideally, maybe for a half of a risk unit, a buy above here tomorrow with a stop there. But if it breaks down, I think we're likely to see a flush and then rebuild. So the risks are high if you don't honor your stop there. Another one that probably isn't a household name is this GCT, Giga Cloud. It's got a nice looking weekly chart here. It's in a nice stage 2 uptrend. It trades, just about 1 million shares a day, but the you know, it was up on earnings over here and it's starting to stabilize. So I'd like to see this one maybe pull back tomorrow and then get going. But just, you know, from a swing trade perspective, which is my preferred time frame, the setups I think are a few days away from really revealing themselves to us.
Thank you again, Brian. I want to bring up, you brought us TGTX at one point, and somebody in the chat was bringing that to our attention. You mentioned at $17, now at $30. So we say thank you for that. Everybody, please pay attention to what Brian says, and make sure you do follow this guy at Alpha Trends. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. What's the weather like around your neck of the woods right now? Is it starting to get a little snowy?
The mountains are finally getting some snow, Sean, so that's what's most important. Here in Denver, it's 62 degrees. What's that, maybe 20 Celsius or so? Yeah. So it's been really nice, but going to start to cool off a little bit.
I didn't realize how expensive snowboarding equipment is. My son just started snowboarding last year, 2 years ago, and we just went, and thankfully we went to a secondhand store and bought him a Burton board, and apparently that's a good board, so he's really happy with that, looking forward to hitting the slopes. You're a skier rather than a snowboarder?
I am a skier, yes.
Yeah, when does that see? Are you going up frequently now in the mountains, or?
I've been once so far, and it really was just like 2 trails open, but they're going to get about 20 inches in the next 2 weeks, so I got my eye on a couple.
Good, sounds like fun. Yeah, get out there and enjoy. We can't be in front of the screens too much. Brian Chen, I want everyone to go follow him at Alpha Trends, both on X and on StockTwits. Thank you so much, Brian. Of course, you have a subscription model where you give a lot of insight and take a lot of questions as well, so I want everyone to go hit you up. Thanks again, Brian. And you're going to join us next week, Tuesday, right?
Yep. I will.
Ciao, that's Brian Shannon, and that's
Thanks,
Trader
everybody.
Talk.
Nice guy.
Well, that's that.
Sure.
So what do you think? Want to go on for another half hour or what?
Let's do another hour.
Do another hour? Okay, Fabian, I don't know, man. What do you think, Fabian? You think we want to wrap this thing up? Time is ticking, we gotta go. Okay, hey, look, man, you did a great job. Thank you so much for coming through, man. Let me know in the chat what you think of this dude, Adam. Great job today, and we'll hope to have you back for sure. Adaira's here, everybody's here. We're trying something new. I wanna thank all of you for staying with us once again here. It's been a great day. What are your plans tonight?
I got no plans.
No plans.
Look at more charts.
Okay, what is your favorite, actually, how about this? What do you take in your coffee? Because you said you're a coffee guy.
I go black.
You go black. Once you go black, you never go back. So that's a good little look right there.
I've never said that.
I'm a one milk kind of guy. So right there, I think that was Wesley Snipes or something that wound up saying that. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. For Adam, I'm Sean. Thank you so much for staying late, Fabian. Thanks to everybody, and thank you for watching. We're back live tomorrow at 8:30. Until then, say goodbye to everybody, Adam.
Goodbye.
All right.
Thanks, Sean.